And away we go. That's wrong. At this point, I don't even know why I have those things. What's up, guys? Let's get some love in the chat for you. Happy Monday. Happy Mayday Monday. What's everyone doing? How are we doing? How's everyone doing? How are we? How are we? How are we? 9 of the top 10 war leaders are in the All-Star game. Fan vote needs to be thrown out for All-Star games. It's an All-Star game, man. They don't matter. They just don't matter. I know that's a hot-ass take to come in on the first moment of the day, but they don't matter. It just doesn't matter. Especially for relievers. We don't care at all because we can't make it. Unless you're on the Phillies, evidently. So, I get it, but like, All-Star game is literally only for the fans. Just keep the fans voting. Who cares? Like, I get it. Some people are going to get screwed. Some people aren't. There's simply not enough spots. But we're going to talk about who got screwed. So, but keep in mind that it doesn't matter. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm just projecting because I didn't make any of them. Though I was mentioned in some obscure articles after the season that I maybe would have made a second half All-Star team if that existed. So, my bad. Trevor, would you come out of You should come out of retirement to join the Blue Jays. It's been rough. I mean, if it's been rough, why would I want to join? You know what I mean? Do I think there would be a big difference if I were there? Probably not. Probably not. So, Lindor and Nimmo are chief among them in the NL. We'll talk about that. Lindor's played very well last 6 weeks or so, but you guys got to remember how much he was struggling earlier. So much of his success is from this year, it's from recently, very recently. So you got to remember, people who don't follow the team really closely aren't going to know about his recent success. So just remember, like, a lot of the fan voting and a lot of the player voting too, because it is actually astounding how few players pay attention to what's going on in the rest of the league. It's mind-boggling, frankly. I was always blown away how little guys knew. Or were paying attention. And so, maybe they saw in May that he was struggling. He's hitting, 210 and didn't have a lot of homers and whatever. It had a 650 OPS. Now he's a 750 OPS, but, maybe that's what's stuck in there. So, like, he did have that going against him, if that makes sense. Real question here. What do you think of the Red Sox rotation? It's very good. Very good. SPB, I'm pitching today as a 13U player. What mindset should I use? You should use the infinite confidence mindset. Here's the deal, man. I want you to go out, and I want you to be able to walk off the mound knowing that you were in the moment the whole time. Now, whatever that means for you, for each person, it might be a little bit different than others, but that's a skill that I would love you to build and learn how to know whether or not you were or not. So if your dad or your coach said, hey, like, how do you feel about today? You can say, you know what, I did my best job to make the pitches that I wanted to make. And I competed. And I tried to win the game. Then that's all you can do. And the more you do that, the better it's going to work out. I know that's not sexy or fun, or that's not super exciting, but a level of maturity like that when you're younger, I just wish I had it. Frankly, I just wish I would have learned. Hey, Nick12498, brand new subscriber, and Amazing Bolts, 11 months. I know you did that when we had the intro, so I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for your resubscriptions and brand new subscriptions to the channel. Let's get some Team A1s in the chat. Also, my emotes are currently in the review process for YouTube. So very soon, both YouTube and Twitch will be able to both put these emotes in the chat. By the way, that process sucks. I just want everyone to know that. You know how long it takes to put up that many? A long time. Okay. Has anyone ever described you as breedable? I am married and she is pregnant, so at least one person has decided that I am breedable. But thank you so much. How about that Jose Miranda streak? We're going to talk about it because a lot of crazy shit happened this week. But first, before we get into the news, as we like to do here on the show, for the first 10 to 15 minutes, it is housekeeping. It is seeing how everyone's doing. This is about you. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to answer lots of questions today, guys. We have Discord going where I actually changed something in Discord. It's called Trevor Answers Questions. If you ever want a question answered on stream, that's what that's going to be for. I'm going to try to avoid, I'm going to answer the ones that I don't get to on stream in Discord later, but that we had some really good stuff, and I'll shout you out and stuff. And we have a segment to do that later in the show, later in the stream. So, and I'll be hitting questions. Ray 2KYT, brand new tier 1 sub as well. Gosh, so many people pulling out their wallets and paying the extra $1 to sub because Twitch increased the price of a sub, because of course they did. Capitalism, money. We need more. Sorry. Just too easy. It's too easy. But thank you. I really appreciate that. By the way, memberships over on YouTube are $4. So, though, you don't get everything you got here at Twitch yet, but you will at some point. So, just throwing that out there. And even if you sub on Apple too, then you're paying another $1. So, what a joke. I just want to give you good content. Thank you guys so much for being here, hanging out. Have you ever considered reaching out to Louis Robert to be his home run derby pitcher someday? Relax, Dinksy. Okay? You relax your face. Just because a guy took me deep twice doesn't mean he owns me, because I got him out a lot of other times. One of which was a punchy. So, and you know what? They were both solo shots. So, what do I think of Ryan Helsley? I think he sucked. No, I'm just kidding. Saving 30 straight games is nothing to shake your stick at. All right, quick housekeeping. Quick housekeeping. It's so funny. My watch just told me I am at in a very loud area, and I need to get out of there, or my ears will be damaged if I hear for 30 minutes. And what it's hearing is my voice. So maybe I should stop yelling. But first, it's focus fuel time. Brand new flavors, chat. Strawberry lemonade. This stuff is fire. They have pineapple and strawberry lemonade out. Same with sour apple. GetFocusFuel.com. Code baseball. 10% off. They're so good. 50 milligrams of caffeine right there. Look at that. How many autographs do you sign in your life? Don't want to think about that because it makes my shoulder hurt. A lot. Hand cramping. So our main segments today on the show are going to be going over the All-Star game rosters and then deciding who the snubs are. Guys, we're going to do this together. I have a few ideas. I have all literally right in front of me. I have everybody who's making the All-Star team on both teams right here. And we're going to try to figure out maybe who got screwed and who didn't. I know you guys have your opinions. I'll need your input on that. We will also be talking about what was the next thing? I had another big one. We did a poll in Instagram. If you're not part of my Instagram channel, you should. We did a poll there about whether or not we want a skills competition for pitchers in the All-Star game. Do we want that? Yes, we do. So we're going to design it, because I got some ideas, and I think you got some ideas too. That'll be a little bit of fun. And then I want to expand on a breakdown I did of what makes an offense the best version of itself, and expand on that, because I have a philosophy that I have been living by since 2012 in terms of how I think about the game of baseball, and I think I have a great example of this. It might be a little bit goofy. It might be a little bit lectury, but I think you'll think it's interesting. And any of my baseball player friends out there, anyone who's interested in, for example, OOTP baseball or fantasy baseball or whatever, this might be interesting for you. And I'm going to bust out the old iPad and draw. Can't wait to show you. Can't wait to show you. Can't wait to show you what I got to talk about. So that's going to be fun. But real quick, before we move on, let's talk a little bit about the upcoming schedule. Next week, I will be down in Dallas for the All-Star game. So I'm getting there on Sunday evening. I'm still going to do Mayday Monday, but I'm going to be doing it from from a hotel room. And I'm going to be doing it still on Monday. But the next 4 Mondays after that, 4 in a row, I will be having to fly to New York City every single weekend. I know. What am I doing? I had to fly to New York City 4 straight weekends because I'm doing Sunday Night Baseball 4 straight weeks, possibly a 5th straight week for the alt cast, which is going to be a lot of fun. So I'll show you a little bit of the background of that because they released a press release. An ESPN hosted production focused media conference on Thursday, March 4th, Phil Orleans. Phil, my guy Phil and Andy. Okay. It's somewhere in here. Where's my part? La 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 la. We've added Trevor May, who some of you may know. He's a Twins relief pitcher. Not anymore. As the ex-player type analysis, walking right off the field good after a good year with the A's last year. I've not really encountered a guy stepping off the field who's deeply embedded in that database world as I have with Trevor. One example, doing weekly podcast rates and bales every Friday with Sarah's level of knowledge experience with the highest modern end data is incredible for a guy walking out the field. I think he really helps us take it to another level. You would be right, Phil. Woo! So, I will be doing that. I will be a color analyst. Not color. Analyst. Color and analyst. I will be an analyst for the show. This is not going to be, I'm not going to be with A-Rod and Michael K or anything. It's going to be with Kevin Brown, beloved Orioles play-by-play gentleman, and Mike Petriello, resident nerd at the MLB. So, I will be there, but we will be doing Mayday Tuesday those weeks because I got to fly back on Monday, but I'm going to be doing the show on Tuesdays because I love this shiz. I love it so much. I love it. I love it so much. I'm having a genuine, absolute blasty McBlasterson doing this show, guys. So thank you everyone for being here. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. It's been a blast. Also, a lot of you guys may see the exclamation point newsletter in the title. I've done something called the Mayday Report. I started doing it last off season. It includes a bunch of kind of things that I'm into, different segments and stuff. He's Ted, he's fat, and he's been here for 77 months. That was my high school rank in the class of 85. Damn, Ted, you old. Whoa. I don't know where that came from. I'm so sorry. Good to see you, bud. Good to see you, man. It's Dave. That's an old joke. That's what? How old is calling you Dave? Probably like 6-7 years. Very old. Interesting. Biggest check you ever earned? Like $700K. Am I trying to cosplay as Paul Skeens? Actually, no. I'm trying to be Lou Brown from Major League. But I'm a fan. I've been doing kind of like the stubble, just like the slightly longer mustache. I kind of like it because, first of all, my mustache is the thickest part of my facial hair, by far. It's the most consistent. There's no breaks. I've grown a mustache many, many times in my life, but now I've committed to it. But I'm trying to go like the stubble with the, just the trimmed. I'm not trying to go super long with it, so. I don't know. It's something different. The haircut's getting a little different too. So, yeah. First thing I bought my first big league check. Turntables. What size shoe do I wear? 15s. What do you think about Bohm joining the Derby? He's not really a home run hitter to me, but I think he's going to have fun. I think he'll have a good time. Big hands. Big hands. You know what that means? We got another sub, Marcy. Back for 15 ones, Marcy. 51. Look how little this baseball looks in my hands. Yeah. All right. So anyway, the newsletter's coming back, and I've realized that there is a version of this where I do it in the off season versus the season. So during the season, I want to update you on here's the new videos, here's the new stuff, here's whatever. But I was wondering what else you guys wanted to hear in that. Whether or not I could do like I kind of want to do like an advance, how I would pitch a guy who's killing it, an advance report like that, like I did in the offseason for the playoffs. I think doing one of those a week would be fun. I don't know what I want. One thing that only lives in the newsletter. So sign up for that. That's coming as well, and I enjoy it. Can you also do a video about off the field things like lifting and mindsets? Oh, Ehig, I got a lot coming, man. Tons and tons and tons coming. There's so much planned to the point where I'm starting to stress myself out before this baby comes, because I'm Trevor, and that's what I do. Trevor needs a Substack for his advanced analytical content. That's kind of what I want to do, Joe. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to do it. I have a project where I want to teach people, give pitching resources and stuff, but I kind of want to link them in together where I'm doing like educational stuff, like just educational content. But there is another YouTube channel that's I'm slowly working on the content and the videos and some stuff, but I want to make sure I have like a nice little foundation before I dump it on you, because I don't want to just put one thing out and then go dark for 3 months and we're like, what is this thing? Like, I want to make sure that I do it correctly. I've kept so many notes over my career. I have so much stuff, guys, and I gotta organize. I'm realizing how hard it is to do this stuff. So this show was my main. This was my main priority. Now that we've gotten this going, I can start to focus on that a little bit more. So, anyways, Trevor, I need to understand you. I never understand why you have the mind of a pitching coach. Why wouldn't you try it at least? Because it requires me to go do things. The reason I retired is because I wanted to be where I live, and I wanted to be with my family, and I wanted to start a family. And Major League, at least at the Major League level, Major League Baseball just requires too much time away, like too much physical time where I need to be somewhere else. And I think there's a way for me to contribute to the game and help pitchers get better without me having to be there every day for 10 hours. That's why. Because if I still wanted to do that, I would just still keep playing, because one, you have less responsibility to everybody on the team, and two, you're paid way more. So why would I not? I would do that first. If I wanted to continue to travel all the time and be away from my family, I would just continue to play till my body fell apart, and then I would probably try to coach. But I have so many other interests, so many other things that I'm into, that I wanted time to do it, and then to approach this as I felt like doing it and just kind of shake it out. So I'm trying to be patient with myself. But yes, I know I can do pitching coaching. I want to. All right. 5 gifted name your baby after you. Nick? Or does it have to be Nick 12498? Which one? Which team I'm the biggest fan of? The New York, Minnesota, Oakland Madden Twins. Just Nick is good? Nah. No, I don't want to do that. Sorry, bud. Are the Mariners actually bad when it comes to strikeouts, or can we give some flowers to all the pitchers? I mean, you got to remember, like, pitching in their place is also kind of advantage to them, so that doesn't help. But no, they're good. I mean, they strike out a lot, but it comes down to approach. Okay, last thing I will say. Last week, guys, this was something came up that I'm not really proud of. So let me quickly touch on it. We talked for like a couple minutes about another YouTuber named iTalk Studios, right? And I had this tone. The vibe was like, I was like, I don't like clickbaity stuff, and that just, I don't know why I said that stuff. That wasn't fair to them, because I've watched a couple more of their videos this last week. Like, it didn't make any sense why I took that lane. So I want to apologize to iTalk for the random bullet, the random shrapnel I threw out there at them, the random shade. And I realized that I was projecting a little bit because I'm struggling a little bit with how to not clickbait and the entire concept of YouTube and how to get people to watch. I'm now fully in it, and it feels grimy at times, and I don't like it that much. So then when I see other people having to doing it as well, I get like, eh. But like they have to. Like we've built this attention economy where you have to like flirt with that line constantly, and every once in a while some stuff's gonna feel not great to you, and that's fine. Like that's just. But you gotta. I'm empathetic to it because now I have to find with. I got to put ex MLB player on every title, and that feels like braggy and stupid to me. Feels it's not fun for me to say that all the time because I honestly I tried not to mention it in my personal life a lot when people didn't know me. Like I play baseball, like it was something I actively did, so like it feels weird to do it in YouTube videos. But at the same time, like people want to see that, so like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a me thing. It's like it's me. Everything's in my head. So sorry about the shade. Didn't mean to do that. Like I want to collaborate. I want to help YouTubers that talk about baseball. I don't want to yuck anybody's yum or bring them down. There's no reason to do that. So and yeah, my bad. I messed up. And I'm gonna be. It's stuff like that happens. Whatever. All right. I love you guys. Next video's thumbnail is gonna have a bunch of red arrows on it. No, only one. Yeah, putting a red arrow on just feels goofy. Making your title yellow feels silly. But it's like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a. There's nothing wrong with it. Like it's weird. It's like a weird hipster mindset. Like, ooh, that's not unique. Like, who cares? I don't know why I care. So it's something I'm working on. Like, I don't know what I want to watch. Yes, please bait me into watching quality videos. I mean, Tom, it does. Most people are like that, but yeah, it still feels like everything's shaking so much. It feels disingenuous at times. So, anywho, let's get into the show. And we'll start off. Let's talk about a little bit of news. Now, many of you may have seen, I'm going to put the old standings up while we talk about this. Right now, this is where everybody is at. Toronto Blue Jays, Baltimore Orioles are now in first place. Called it. Cleveland Guardians still holding on. Seattle Mariners barely holding on. By the way, Seattle Mariners being in first place, they're in first because everyone else is playing bad, not because they were playing good. They are 19-25 on the road. Yikes. And here comes Houston. Yay. Yippee. All right. Phillies up by 8 games. Who'd have thunk? St. Louis Cardinals still hanging around, second place. Not hanging around even, just like kind of separating themselves, which is very interesting. And then the Doyers are, like, of course. Of course, here they go. They're off. No way. All right. Justin Steele. We had 2 things happen this week that barely ever happened. I think we only had like 10 complete games all season. Then suddenly we got 2 in a week, and those 2 were both Maddox's, less than 100 pitches thrown. That is, Justin Steele and Joey Estes both throw complete games in the same week. What are the chances? First of all, what are the chances of someone getting the opportunity to throw 9 innings? And then what are the chances that they complete it in under 100 pitches? I don't know. I'm glad we saw it, but wow. Wowie. Look at that. That's crazy. Joey Estes, Justin Steele. So the interesting one about the Justin Steele one is we talked last week about how he blew up on his team. And we're like, is this cool? What is it? Where is this coming from? And then I saw as he finished that game, because I watched the end, that it was his first win of the year. So the dude was frustrated as hell. And you could tell by the look on his face that he was like, oh my God, thank God. I'm so bad this year. I just want to be good. And so big, under 100 pitches. How crazy is that? Texas is coming. No, they're not. Texas is not coming. No, like they're fine. They'll probably end up being around 500, but I don't think they're coming. No, I think they're going to sell, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So shout out to Justin Steele for getting your first win, dude, and doing it in a big way, taking over the game. God, it's so fucking hot in here. Let's turn on my fan. Let me know if this is like too loud for you guys. It should be okay, but Cutter Crawford should have been allowed to finish the game last night, less than 70 through 7 innings. Excuse me? What was the score, though? Nick, what was the score? That's important. Okay, and then in other news, we had a great article, and I'm going to touch on some of these questions because I thought this would be interesting. From my colleague over here at The Athletic, because, you know, I do rates and barrels. My bad. Was answering 30 MLB trade deadline questions a month ago with a month to go and so many possibilities. Now, I like JB, Jim Bowden, for my trade stuff because he knows about all the prospects and I don't. So I'm going to touch on a couple of these and just give my opinions of what I think is going to happen. I apologize. I'm a little bit apathetic towards the trade deadline. There's too many people making excuses about it being slow. Too many comments from GM saying, "Oh, well, I don't know. No one's really making anyone available." So, don't get too excited. There's gonna be a lot of angry people because there's not gonna be a lot happening, in my opinion. In my opinion. Absolutely, farms are cool. What do you have to offer? What do you have to offer me? In terms of value, that's how this works. Are the Orioles prepared to make a big move at the deadline? I think they're the best chance to make a deadline. By the way, for Tommy Pham to be a big move these days, like remember the days of like, no offense to Tommy, he's a good player, but like, remember when Cespedes got traded? Remember David Price getting traded? I think Brewers should make a bigger splash at pitcher than Keuchel and Savali. I got a question. Who is bigger besides Crochet? Who else is there? Fetty? Trevor, could you make a video on how traveling as a player works? Potluck. I actually have a bunch of videos that touch on that. Especially my last vlog of the season last year, going from Chicago, Seattle to Chicago, I believe, or Oakland to Chicago. Go check that one out. Do I play 2K basketball? I do not, no. So I'm looking to get back into basketball. Luzardo's hurt, so I don't know why everyone keeps saying Luzardo. He hasn't pitched in weeks. Like, he's not going to be even ready for after the deadline, probably. He's got a lumbar stress reaction. He might not even pitch for the rest of the year. I've been there. I've had the exact same injury. It sucks, man. Maybe TA. Maybe. TA could be a big pickup. I believe he's in the second. I mean, Chris Bassett, maybe. Zetter's 35 months in a row. Look at you cutie. You cute. Fernandez, 192. Can I get some love in the chat for them? That's 35 months and 2 months, respectively, guys. Team A1's in the chat. How we doing? Good to see you. All right. So, I don't know about the Orioles and picking somebody up because it depends on who's available. Now, if there's just too many teams on the cusp, man, like Severino would be a great one, but they might not trade him. I think Jack Flaherty's probably gone. I think he's probably one of the better ones going to be on the block. Maybe Cal Quantrill. But again, Cal, he's just like a 5-starter. So maybe the Orioles could use him too. Like, I think Cal, maybe the Orioles could use him. They need someone. They don't need they need somebody to be just consistent in the back end because they can get I think Dean Kramer being the third, they could be fine. It's just like you can't run Cole Irvin out there every day. He's a good flex guy. You need somebody who can eat some innings. They could add Fetty too, maybe, but I'm not sure. Aside from pitching, the Yankees' biggest hole is inconsistency in the bottom half of the order. What else is new? I don't know. I haven't seen much on Glaber. I don't know if Glaber's hurt. Maybe you guys can help me out, but we'll see. The Cubs will sell at the deadline. I don't know who they're going to sell, but I would say that's a pretty good guess. Now here's the interesting one. I want to talk really quickly about Crochet, where Crochet could go. So I've been told that 2 GMs who reached out about Crochet said that they would use him in relief until the end of the year. Now that will completely change the haul they're willing to give for him. But the White Sox are going to ask for a lot because he's been so good this year. So there's going to be a difference in value for those two teams, and I would not be even remotely surprised if Garrett Crochet does not go anywhere. I would not be remotely surprised if Garrett Crochet did not go at all, simply because of that discrepancy. He's going to be on an innings limit. It's going to be like 130 innings. That's 30 innings for the rest of the year. That's 6 starts of 5 innings. Like, what team is going to trade for a 30 innings of a guy? Oh yeah, it's good, but everyone holds on to their prospects like they're gold because guys get up so fast, and those trade chips are important. But one thing we are noticing, yeah, I could see him getting traded in the offseason for sure. But the thing I'm noticing right now, and we saw it in free agency. Actually, we've seen it ever since the lockout, and that is teams are getting more and more risk adverse, and we are seeing that more. No one's taking any chances. No one will take any chances if the model doesn't spit out exactly what they want. They don't want to do it, and so we're going to see a lot of lateral moves and nothing big. Right? If you went on that alone, the Mets would have never traded for Cespedes in 15, because the value wouldn't have spit out the numbers correctly long term. That would have prevented that to happening, and it was one of the best stories in baseball in the last 10 years, right? So, but unfortunately, you like, these guys are businessmen, and everything's being treated as if it's like Amazon, right? Like, we need to do this. Here's the return on investment, and we can guarantee that return on investment. That's why we hear Jerry Dipoto say things like 54%. That is how these conversations are happening at the high levels, which, is good and bad, right? You don't want your teams making dumbass decisions where you hamstring your team for 10 years because you spent way too much money on one guy, kind of like, Pujols or whatever, right? But you also never, nothing ever cool is going to ever happen either. So the risk adversity is kind of annoying because it's kind of like it's what's happening everywhere. Now, I know I'm about to get a little existential here, so give me 1 second. But like, I'm really into movies. I follow the film industry pretty closely. They're having the same issue. Like, people with money, like the big studios, they only want to do things like freaking Thor 4 and superhero movies and things because they can project success better than any sort of creative chances. They're taking less and less creative chances, and then business is also doing the same thing. You're just noticing we're getting copies of the same shit that's just getting lower and lower quality, and drop shipping's become very popular and all this kind of stuff because it's guaranteed to make return on investment. Like, we can make this for $1 and sell it for $3. That's guaranteed money back. Who gives a shit if it's good or it solves any problems or is actually anything that people want, as long as we can convince them to buy it. It's just kind of, it's the quest for efficiency, and it's in baseball as well, which makes sense, but also there's a dark side to it, and it's frustrating because I like stories, and I think sports are supposed to be fun, and they're getting it just feels very like regimented, or like very, you know what I'm trying to say? Do you think the Padres Nats Soto trade will make teams hesitant to trade big packages of prospects? I mean, of course it will, or it'll be used as an excuse. Very corporate, formulaic. Formulaic's the word. Thank you, Craigar. That's a great word. It's very formulaic, which there should be. I'm a numbers person. I believe in being. I just feel like you put yourself in the best position to make the. You put yourself in a position to make a good decision, but then be okay if it's wrong or right. Just like hedge a little bit. But there are no guarantees in life, and that a quest for that I think is futile. So, do you think Lorenzen has a market? I think that Lorenzen has a market. I think that Lorenzen has a market. I think that Heaney has a market. I think that John Gray has a market. I think that Max Scherzer has a market. I think that who else? Kirby Yates market. So, yeah, I think our sneaky sellers, I think the sneaky sellers, teams that could sell that people aren't anticipating selling. I think the Texas Rangers could sell. I think the Tampa Bay Rays could sell. I think the Tampa Bay Rays are going to sell. They're not going to like decimate their team, but they're going to get a bunch of new guys. They're going to make some swaps. They're going to take advantage, and they're going to sell. I think they're one of the teams that's good that was being like, you know what, we're probably not going to make it. We do great, but like this isn't the year. Let's try to see what we can get. I think the Mariners are going to make some really lateral move that's like a platoon situation. I think it's going to mostly be lateral moves. I think that we're going to have some breakdowns for the for Kopech and Crochet. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if the White Sox don't get rid of anybody because they're asking for too much. Do you think Pete Alonso will be traded at the deadline? I don't know with the Mets because I know Mets fans are going to not accept selling. So we'll see how they handle that. But Stearns has been pretty set in stone on what he's been wanting to do. So I would not be surprised if they do some lateral moves. They try to get some value out of some guys, but also still continue to compete because they have the luxury of doing that. JD Martinez. I think it's a lateral move thing. I think it's going to be like, hey, let's go grab a reliever for one of our position players type situation, right? Yeah, but not fully selling wigs. You know you don't want like to fully sell, right? So, yeah, we'll see. And then again, like the Dodgers, everyone's like, well, they can do a big splash too. They can do a big splash. Why? They don't need to. They're 19 games up. They're 19 games over 500. The thing is, like these teams, like they don't need to do these things. And the teams that are selling are going to want a lot of stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe Mania could go. Severino could go. Honestly, God, if we could just see Senga before the end of July, like that would probably go a long way. 1 second. I really need to turn that off. Does McNeil have trade value? Yeah, he does. McNeil has a fairly cheap contract he's on to. A second year of a $50 million deal, 5 years. So, like, he's $10 million a year for a middle infielder. That would maybe be a steal for somebody. So, but we'll see. So, like, yeah, it's a lot of Dodgers. Let's talk really quickly about the Phillies. I think the Phillies going for Randy Arozarena is completely a great call. A Jazz Chisholm, possibly. I don't know. There's so many guys that would fit really well, but it's in their division. There's tons of this. And it's really hard to tell who would go where. But I think picking up Randy in Philly, I think Randy would thrive in Philly. He'd be huge. I heard Jazz being thrown around. I heard Louis Robert as well. I could see Louis Robert going to the Phillies, but I think the Orioles and the Phillies they're going to both try to grab like one player. They're going to try to grab like a starting pitcher for the Orioles, and the Phillies are going to try to grab an outfielder. I think Rooker goes to the Phillies. Trevor, play in Mexico. Why would I ever do that? That's not a desirable thing. I just want everyone to know that. It's not something you want. Pete won't make what he wants in free agency. The Mets will still have the advantage on him there. Yeah, it's true. Pete also might be a good qualifying offer candidate. A center fielder for the Phillies? Yeah, just get Rooker and put him in center. So it's talking about Jazz. Would the Braves trade for Gosman again? I don't think he would. I don't think Gosman's going to go anywhere. I think Bassett's probably their most likely guy to go. Though he has another year on his contract, or he's got an option. I think the Mariners should trade a starting pitcher. They won't, but I think they should. Yes or no, Trajekt Skubal gets moved? Absolutely not. You protect Trajekt Skubal with your whole heart. I think Canna and Flaherty going to somewhere is the most likely thing. I don't think the Giants are going to buy either. I wouldn't be surprised if Conforto goes or something. There's a lot of outfielder needs. I think the Giants could get something for Conforto. Orioles need a reliever too. Yeah, everyone needs a reliever all the time. But again, like the best ones are out there going to be like Yimi Garcia and Chad Green. Those two guys are probably not going to go in their division. Like they're probably just not going to give them to the Orioles. So that's the interesting thing. Like I think those two guys are the best out there. Yimi and Chad Green are probably the best available in terms of relievers besides Kopech. Could the Nats trade Jake Irvin? Possibly. He threw really well his last outing out. I don't know, though. I don't know what their long-term plan is. They got so many young guys with so much controllability. It's hard to tell. Thoughts on Royce Lewis? I love that man. Flaherty with the Cardinals? Possibly. That's a very Cardinals move. I could see them grabbing Canna and Flaherty. Kikuchi probably goes. Yeah, Kikuchi too. I haven't seen. The thing is, I haven't really delved into how well Kikuchi's thrown this year, so I don't really know. The Guardians probably need a little bit of starting pitching, so trading Gavin Williams, they better get Crochet. Ooh, Reds getting rid of Jonathan India. I think that's completely possible. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. would be huge. Please don't give him to the Astros. Just don't give him the Astros. I could see the Astros making a trade for a first baseman, even though Dubon has been doing a very good job of playing every position. I think the Rangers should sell. Honestly, I'm cheering for the Rangers to sell because we need someone else to sell. Mike Trout's not going anywhere. Art Moreno doesn't know what he's doing, guys. So I'm just not gonna. I'm never gonna think the Angels are gonna do anything savvy, and that's not their GM or their front office's fault. That's their owner's fault. Goldie to the Astros. Oof. Frickin' oof. No, thank you. Please no. Think the Orioles should get a setup guy? Who? Jimmy? Chad? I think Chad Green's a good lineup. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna go in division. There's just so many teams that could use guys in their division. This is a tough one. Also, this is my first time doing this and getting into the trade deadline. This shit is crazy. Can't imagine. Possible for Yankees looking for some utility and bullpen pitchers? Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. Utility guy, that's interesting. Someone mentioned possibly if the Phillies pick up an outfielder, they DFA Witt or they trade Witt. But if Witt becomes available, I think him going to the Yankees might be good. What do they mean by setup guy? Basically, he's the guy who pitches before the closer. Lucas Urseg might be a guy, but again, he's controllable forever. He is older, though. I could see that being a big deal. Mason Miller ain't going nowhere, I told you. I think Paul Blackburn should be talked about for a trade. Brent Rooker. Miguel Andujar has not been talked about. He's batting 306 with almost an 800 OPS for the A's this year. Playing left field, being a utility guy. Andujar might be a guy. Rengifo might be a utility guy people will pick up. He's hit pretty well this year, or was when I checked a couple weeks ago. He might have fell off a cliff. I don't know, but you think Oakland sells or stays the same? They should sell. They should always sell. They should sell. They should be able to get a lot for Rooker. At this point, I think Rook has an 870 something, 878 OPS this year. He had over 800 OPS last year. I think it's the real deal at this point. He's hit 15 homers. He had 30 last year. or he's at 18 homers, like he's on pace for another 30-plus year. Like, if you can get something for him, get him. Will the A's ever be good? Of course they will. They were good 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Robertson or Yates from Texas? Yeah, I think so too. I bet you David Robertson. Hey! Thank you for the Degenerate Weekly. That's a name. Thank you, man. Welcome in. Or madame. Or anything in between. Not here to assume. Thank you so much for your raid. Can I get some love for the Degenerate Weekly? Can we get a shout out to in the chat? Any of the mods that are here. Thank you guys so much. What's up? What's up? What's up? How'd your stream go? How'd everything go? What city am I in? I am in Seattle. I'm in the great Northwest, the GNW. White Sox will shop Lennon Sosa. I don't know what his market is. I'm not really familiar. To be honest, I've been avoiding the White Sox like the plague. All right. That's kind of the trade deadline news. I just wanted to touch on that real quick. And by real quick, I mean for 20 minutes. All right, on to the next part of our stream. Let's get into our main stories, guys. Also, real quick, though, let me show you in the Discord. I want to always make sure that I am putting these things out here so you know that they exist. But if you join our Discord channel, right, me? This is our Discord server. Trevor's Happy Place. You join it up, guys, and you are unable to talk, please go to the channels and roles and pick your roles, please. If you choose just baseball, it'll show you just baseball stuff. If you choose them both, it's everything. So make sure you go here and you choose your role. Thank you so much. But we do a weekly poll, even though the poll wasn't done this week in this. It was done somewhere else. Then we have questions for Trevor, where I take a bunch of questions and I'm going to answer them on stream, but I'm going to do that a little bit later. So join the Discord. That is !Discord. In either chat, you'll have a link to this, or it's discord.gg/TrevorMay. And make sure you get in here and you have a chat. We're all baseball fans. We're all friends. All right. Haven't seen you since the Tim streams. Hey, what up, Achilles? So, go check her out, family. All right, next up, we have one of our main subjects. Should the All-Star game include a pitcher skills challenge? Should the All-Star game include a pitcher's skills challenge? Shout out to the 16 people said, nah, who cares about those scrubs? F you, bro. But for the 623, like, yes, please. What can we do? What can we do? Pitchers are not athletes, except for they're paid millions of dollars to do something athletic. But what would a pitcher skill challenge look like? And I'm not talking about like running, guys. We're talking about throwing the ball, playing catch. I want to see a pitcher's hitting challenge. No, you don't. No one wants to see that. You guys are all lying if you say you want to do that. You're all lying. And nobody likes a liar. So, actually, I don't want to do it like this. I want to do it. Let's see if I can get this to work. I want to test this. Let me pull this up. He never knows what I look like. And if I go here, we go here. Wait, where is it? Wait, what? Where is it? Oh, it's down here. Oh, there we go. Yeah! Can you see it? You can. Look at this, chat. Look at this. Why did you disrespect Cleveland? What do you mean? Which time? Which time did you hear? Should the pitchers have a pitching challenge? let's find out. But let me pick my dude, what the hell? Pitcher. Why is nothing happening right now? Can you please draw? What is going on? Okay, cool. Never mind, doesn't work. Color, it's blue, bro. It's blue. Heck, dude. This is so annoying. Oh my God. It just worked. Stop spamming about Duran. I will talk about your friends. Oh, wait, who's yelling? I think my pen's white. Why would it be white? It's not white. It's definitely black. It's definitely red, I mean. This was literally working. Dude, you hear that? Bruiser! Whatever. I don't care. All right, back. We're going to turn it off. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. All right. Here's my ideas for the pitchers skills challenge. Chat. Ow. Hold on, I'm going to test one other thing. Yeah, that works. Cool. Never mind, I found one that works. We'll do that in a minute, though. Sorry, I was grabbing food. It's okay. Just never leave again. Thank you so much. I think we should do two things. We should do pitcher horse. You had the eraser selected. No, I didn't. I selected it and then selected the paintbrush again. It's not that simple. Don't act like you figured it out and everyone didn't. Not true. I did it 3 times. I swapped it back and forth. It wasn't on the eraser the whole time. Shut your butt. All right. I think we should do pitcher horse. And I think we should do the pitcher obstacle course. With the dunk tank. Pitchers who rake. Why does everyone care about pitchers hitting? Why is that the only thing anyone wants? It's incredible. Movement, spin rate. No, you're hitting targets. So pitcher's horse is like, there's a bunch of, a bunch of crap placed at different heights / distances. So what do you guys think? What if there was a bunch of like products and like things were hanging, things were like around a corner, things were through a hole, things whatever. And basically you had to call your throw. You're going head to head with somebody. You had to call your throw and you have to hit it. And then you get letters. You play horse. Fastest fastball. You're not going to throw any harder than you would in a game. Velo is also a silly thing because guys are going to throw harder when they're facing a hitter. Pitcher skeet shooting, exactly. But basically they have to stay behind the line, then go through their motions. You don't have to throw very hard. So here's the thing. We need the pitchers to not have to throw hard. It needs to be not like a bullpen. It needs to be just playing catch. Because these are things we do when we play catch. We like move targets around. We see if we can hit a thing on a wall. Like these are all things we do. Not throwing as hard as you can. Just playing catch. I don't know why this is so hard to understand. People are like, what? No, they'll get hurt if they lightly throw. Like they lightly throw all the time. So like different heights and distances. Each you have to call your shot. Other guy can rebuttal. So we can do classic horse. Don't want to get hurt. Yeah, but like we let guys go hit homers. Why is that different? Why is swinging as hard as you can different? First to get a ball in every pocket of 9 pocket. Or we call it pitcher darts. And we do a 9 pocket or some version of a 9 pocket that has all these different point totals, and you go back and forth literally like professional darts. I think professional darts with a baseball would be sick. Thoughts? What do you guys think? M-Dub, 65 months. That's a good number. Bruiser, 45 months. Most bald people still own a comb. They just can't part with it. That was a good joke. Because chicks dig the long ball. Yeah, well, chicks dig velo. By the way, and people wonder, it's so funny. So let's point this out. There's been a lot of conversation like, why do guys want to throw hard? Why are guys so obsessed with throwing hard? Why does no one like Greg Maddux? Why does no one pitch? And then I go, hey guys, what should the pitcher skill challenge? And everyone was like, how hard can everyone throw? The hardest, the throwers. Let's see how hard they can throw. Let's see how far they can throw it. Like, because that's all that anyone cares about. That's why everyone throws as hard as they can, because that's all that everyone cares about. It was just, yes, that's why. It's because the people we idolize are the people who throw the hardest. Why is that? Because that's incentivized. It's not the player's fault. It's not the kid's fault. It's just all we talk about. Do a pitcher lip sync battle? Well, that's at the end, Richard. You never let me finish, man. A 9 pocket. Hold on. 9 pocket with, hey, caps lock. Can you turn off? Thank you. With money balls. So like extra percentage balls. You can extra points for off speed. I think extra points for off speed pitches, and then you have to like get a point total. Or maybe you play 21 with it, so you have to hit certain spots. I think that would be, it's what the people want. Exactly. It's what the people want. You got to give them what they want. So guys are going to continue throwing hard as long as they're the ones that give them the opportunities. If you don't throw hard enough, you're not going to get an opportunity to play at a higher level. It's just the way it is. Hard enough though can vary. So just don't get discouraged if you're a young pitcher out there and you're like, I need to throw hard. But that is a big part of it. You got to be able to show that you have the ability to that there's something in there for, you know what I mean? You got to flash the ability to do it. I'm also realizing how important it is to get in front of a TrackMan and an Edgertronic as a kid, which sucks. Trevor, who's your favorite Met teammate? Trevor Williams. Any way to inspire movement, obstacles in front of targets. Yes. Or something moving maybe. So there's a timing. Like we're talking like pitcher darts turn or pitcher horse turns into like a carnival game. I think that'd be fun. I think you can bring fans in closer. I think that would be interesting. It would be a feeling like, you know, one of the guns up on the concourse that you can go throw in and see what your velo is at a Mariners game, or at a professional game like that. You want that vibe. I think that would be awesome. Has a catcher ever kept secret sticky stuff in their glove? In the past, yeah, I think so. I don't think that's as common these days. It's because they see everything. But way back in the day, yeah. Like the old quarterback skills, exactly. So you could do pitcher horse, we could do darts, and like treat it literally like a professional darts competition. Guys, have you seen oh god, what's his name? Darts. What's his name? Is it Luke Littler? This guy, dude. Chat. This is electric. I want this. I just want this. And I know this is probably going to get muted on Twitch, but I don't care.
Would you please welcome his World Championship debut? The winner.
First of all, that guy's 17.
Of 5 development tours. He's a reigning world youth champion. Ladies and gentlemen, 16 years old from England. It's the sensational Luke Livra.
We go. Fire up the crowd. This guy fires up the crowd. Here he comes. Let's go! Yo, this is darts, fam. By the way, this guy's nasty also. So what I want is guys coming out like this. I want to see Zach Gallen versus George Kirby going out and being like, and then he's like, I'm going for a slider for the 2 points. And everyone's like, oh, here comes the slider. Like, that's what I want. I want to weigh in. I think they could, and it's just playing catch, man. It's 60 feet away. It's a 9. It's you know, and the guy's like, you're just throwing a light bullpen. I would love it. I think it would be sick. So let's do this. I want to pit. I think pitcher darts. This is my favorite one. But what about the obstacle course, where you have to like hit a target, like a skills competition, like the dude, what the? Why is this constantly happening? It drives me crazy. Where you have to go station to station, it's timed, and you got to hit the targets with the baseball. That would be cool. I think that some variation on all these. I think that pitchers having to go out to a position and maybe doing a position player skills challenge would be sick. Pro wrestling interests should be standard MLB now for pitchers. 100,000%, dude. Did I hit high school? I did. I raked. Yeah, like you hang a bottle of Bud Light and you have to hit that. You hit like, I don't know. You hit a mini submarine for buildsubmarines.com. What the hell is that ad? What is that ad? Trevor, do you think a cutter or a, what is going on? Do you think a cutter or a two-seam is more effective to have? Depends on which one you throw better and what else you throw. Those are what we call wrinkle pitches, and deciding which one you want is based on what you need the most. If you need to get lefties out up and in, you should probably throw a cutter. If you need to get righties out in because you're right-handed, you should probably throw a sinker. What do you struggle with the most? Who hits you the hardest and why? And then you pick one of those two pitches. And then everyone wants us to put Manfred in the dunk tank. I'm all in. I'll sit in the dunk tank, though. Guys can hit me. That'd be a lot of fun. I think it's Navy recruitment or something. Yeah, it feels weird, though. It feels very interesting. Any comments to start by DJ Hers last week? I'm unfamiliar with which one you're talking about. But we have not talked about DJ Hers yet, no. So of these three, would we want to do all three? Would we want, I think horse would be cool because then you can match, you can go head to head with guys. I think darts is cool because you go head to head with guys, but I think the pitch, honestly, I'm thinking like pitcher obstacle course is the first round where like 8 guys do it. And then the final 4 either goes to pitcher horse or pitcher darts. Still boring, dude. Man tracker, but with pitchers. Man tracker? What's man track? What are you talking about? What are your thoughts on my arsenal for pitching? I have a 2-seam, a slider, and a sinker. What's the difference between your two seam and your sinker? And also, how old are you? And also, like, what level are you playing at? Long toss challenge? I mean, not everyone throws long toss. This is something everyone does. Everyone throws from 60 feet 6 inches, and you don't have to throw as hard as you can. You don't have to get hurt. You can just mess around, and it'll be really fun to see them shit talk. By the man tracker and killed. You somehow made it less clear. You can make other guys go through all the different tricks, split knuckle curve. That's interesting too. I think that if you did horse, I don't think you could call which pitch because not everyone throws every pitch, right? So if you're like, you have to throw a slider and they don't throw a slider, then you could just abuse them. Apex Trios competition? All right, I was just trying to find out where that came from. 14, you're playing travel ball? Oh, dude, you're great. Oh, your sinker acts like a changeup. Oh, so you basically throw a two-seam sinker. Or you throw a two-seam changeup. Or like a... Why do you call it a sinker then? Because do you hold it with two fingers? I've seen people say two seam and sinker are the same, different where you stand. So here's how it works now. MLB, the MLB has started classifying them all as sinkers because it's easier from a media standpoint, and objectively, there's not a lot of difference. There's a big difference between how the media portrays stuff and then how it's working internally. It's much more easier to. They're really struggling. I'm part of this now. I helped design the way that this altcast is going to go on Sunday Night Baseball, and we had to figure out how to bucket pitches because there's so many different variations. For all intents and purposes, sinkers and two seams are kind of the same. But basically, with a sinker, you wanted more vertical, so you wanted to go down more, and then maybe two planes, so down in this way. Two seam, when you tried to stay on plane, it's basically the opposite. It's a hard version of a cutter, the other way. So you wanted it to stay up, but you wanted it to run. So it was running fastball is what a two seam was. If you play on with the show, the running fastball is what a two seam was. And then a sinker was the one that went down. Now anything that goes that way anything that isn't a four seam is considered a sinker now, just because it's easier to talk about. So I know that's not that helpful, but basically you're like, I want a two seam action means you want to be able to throw it high in the zone for the most part. You're like, I want a sinking action, you want to be able to throw it low in the zone. Those are the two kind of distinctions. Battle Royale. My favorite pitch, four-seam fastball, dude. Up. Blowing dudes away. Blowing dudes away. Real quick, let me just finish up on this idea because I love this. I'm having a blast. Actually, I'm going to move this over so it makes more sense. So maybe we then include like a point total goal. Like 21, where you have to be exact. So you like have to plan your targets and your shots. And if you miss a spot, accidentally hit another spot, it's like skee ball. You have to like go for a different target. So if you go over, it takes you back to 15. You know what I mean? So like even if you're hitting spots, you're hitting the wrong spots. You need to hit your spots in order to get the right amount of points. That would be fun because then then we know where they're aiming for, and it's not just general. I think that'd be sick. I think pitcher darts. I think Zach Gallen versus George Kirby would be freaking sick, dude. I think it'd be sick. Be fun. Point system for those events to gain advantage for All-Star game would be cool. That'd be cool, yeah. Or some tic-tac-toe. Literally anything that makes you have to aim, I think that would be fun. Or if you have to call your shots, I think those guys would be great showmen. I think people would like it. Here's the deal. Once we know what they're trying to do and then they go out and do it, that's why actually darts are kind of fun when you know what's going on because you're like, dude, they're going for this box. Let's see if they can hit it. Once you have that understanding, also, you would learn a lot about pitching. I think it'd be a good opportunity for pitchers to talk about what they're doing too, which would also be interesting. I really like the darts idea. I'm really up on this darts idea. I love this. I think this is a great idea. I think I'm smart as hell. But also pitcher horse would be fun just for shits and gigs. We do that in the bullpen sometimes. Make 9-ball pockets different colors and make them play blackjack. Bring casino sponsors. Yes! More gambling. More gambling sponsors. We're missing that. We're missing that. More like there's just not enough gambling sponsors. The pitch clock got you watching his baseball for the first time? Really? You heard about the pitch clock? You started watching baseball, James? I'm really interested in that story. Honestly, I really want to know how that happened. Trevor, would you ever gamble? I gamble. I don't not gamble. I just don't gamble that much. I don't bet on sports. I think that's silly. Just personally, it's silly for me because it's just not fun. Like it's not enough fun for me. Just picked up my rookie auto and fell. Yeah. People say he has a 70 or 80 fastball. What makes fastball good besides velo? Movement or lack thereof, ride versus sink, and then like swing and miss rates and things. Vertical approach angle, horizontal release angle, all those things are built in. Agility obstacle course, where guys have to like throw on. I also want to see like a bunch of pitchers go to shortstop and have to field to the backhand to throw to first and all kind of stuff. I call it a sinker. That's a hold in the seam is more velo than a change. Well, what does that mean? Like, what's the difference between your four seam? What's the difference between your four seam and your sinker? I can't get into sports betting because the stress of the parlay hitting would take out all the enjoyment of the game. Yes, Lugens Dort. Oh, okay. So James, it locked you in. It locked you in. Okay, so you didn't technically go for the pitch clock, but you know that had the game been slower, you wouldn't be interested in it. Interesting. It's awesome. Hey, working as intended. Nice. Nice. All right. So we think this could be in the All-Star game. I think so too. I think the Home Run Derby's fun. I'm actually excited for the new changes in the format, but I think darts. I'm gonna make this green real quick then. How do I do that? I wonder. Yeah, I don't know how. I don't actually know how to do this. I don't know how to do any of this. So let's just what's happening? We're gonna choose that one. Stupid. Dumb. The color palette, maybe? Where's the color palette? Bam. Bam. Gonna make this bigger. Green. We're gonna do pitcher darts. So add pitcher darts if you guys need me to continue to develop this. MLB, I'm more than happy to do it. You have my number. It's in the database. Thank you. All right, moving on to our next segment. I'm really excited about this, chat. It is time to talk about. Let's talk about the All-Star teams and how are we feeling about it? How are we feeling about the All-Star games? Ooh, should we do a poll? We should do a poll. Actually, real quick, let's do a poll because I want to include this at the end of that video. Ooh, wrong thing. So I'm gonna go in Discord. You guys want to do it in Discord, or can we do it in the chat? Do I have any mods here? Can you guys run a poll in the chat right now? Is that possible? Maybe we should do it in Discord. We'll do it in Discord. Okay. Go down here, go to weekly poll. I'm gonna put in a new poll, guys. Create poll. What should the pitchers' skill competition in the All-Star game be? We're gonna go darts, horse, obstacle course. We'll put that in for 1 hour. Here you go. What do you guys think? Darts? Oh, you can't really see it. Trust me. Trust me, it says darts, horse, and obstacle course. You know, I think it should be darts. So go vote, and we'll see in an hour what it says. Yes, Luca, I would love to do that if you want more. Head-to-head target knockout game. That's what I'm saying. That would be darts. That would be darts, or that'd be horse. That would not be the obstacle course. The obstacle course would be fun as hell. I would enjoy that. All right, back to what we're doing. Let's talk. Let's talk about the All-Star game. All right, I'm going to go name by name real quick. No, I'm not. There's too many. All right. So now we know we have. Can you see this? You can. Okay, cool. We'll put that there. Now we know who the full All-Star teams that were announced yesterday. There's a few things I want to point out to you that are pretty interesting to me in terms of pitchers. Now, I haven't seen the. Wait, where are the reserve pitchers? Are they not reserve pitchers? Wait, no, the reserves are also in here. So this is just all the pitchers. Cool. Okay. So let's look at relievers first and foremost on the American League. We got one guy, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 relievers. AL outfield is twice. Oh, it is. Why is that? Oh, wait, everything is. Why are these listed twice? That's so weird. Anyways, how did that even happen? I don't even know how that happened, guys. That was weird. Anyway, there we go. Left Alonso? No, it's right here. He's not starting. It's right here. I did delete Jordan, didn't I? What's the Discord command? !Discord. Discord.gg/ Trevor May. All right. So these are the backups. These are the backups. All right. I want you to notice pitchers. Let's talk about pitchers first and relievers. Okay. So we have 4 relievers on the AL. All of them are closers. Okay. Let's go look at the NL. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 relievers on the National League side. Is Suarez closing? Okay, so Suarez is closing. Cool. So there's only 2 closers, or there's 3 closers. Helsley, which 100% he should be in it. Tanner Scott, he's the Marlins' only guy. We're going to talk about this in a bit. He has thrown really well, but he is also he's their representative, the Marlins. And then one thing that's head scratcher are both Hoffman and Strom. Which is interesting to me. So I've looked up Jeff Hoffman. And I want to look at Strom too. Because one of the weirdest things in the whole world is the fact that it's so hard to make an All-Star game without being a closer, and the Phillies have 2 guys going that both aren't the closer. Now that's a pretty good year. Well, I mean, he is kind of the closer. He's got 8 saves. So I guess right now he's closing, right? Is Hoffman closing currently? For the most part? Okay. So if he's the closer now, I'll take this one. This is really, really good. He's really good. He's having a very good year. Though we've talked about this, he's for some reason horrible at stranding inherited runners. Can't do it. Gives everyone's runs up. But he's a very good pitcher, and that's no shade. It's just. And there's some unluckiness, and it's like there was a couple outings where like 2 or 3 scored, and that kind of threw everything off. He's been pretty good. It's just funny. It's my one joke I always make because I was good at it, and I like to throw shade. But no, he's really good. And he's an all-star. He deserves it, especially if he has 8 saves. I didn't know he had 8 saves, but he has a positive. Yeah, he's got a positive run value on all 4 pitches. He's been great. Pete Fairbanks started so slowly that it was hard to make that decision or that. So basically, he is the closer. So Strom's the non-closer. Let's see what Strom has done. 159.82. Damn, Strom's had a crazy good year too, but no saves. So Strom's setting up at the moment. How many holds does Strom have? I don't know why they don't have holds here on this website. I have to go to MLB. Okay, so Hoppin and Alvarado close games based on probably matchups. Okay. Let's see where Fairbanks is at then. Pete Fairbanks. No, he's got a 3-2. I mean, it's better, but 117 whip, and he's only a strikeout per inning. I mean, he's got 14 saves. He has pitched way better and played really, really well recently, but no, he's not. He's not an all-star this year. That's a solid year, but it's not a great year. Kimbrel. Strom only has 7 holds. So that's the thing. Strom's having a great year, but Strom is not throwing in leverage. Have we gone over Ragans? No, we have not, but we can do that later in the stream if you want to go over Cole Ragans. Is it Reagans? Is it Reagans? It's Reagans. I think I've been saying it wrong or right. I don't know. I'm going to just go with Ragans. Ragans feels really weird to say. Poll is open in chat. Hit the poll, please. Jason Adam. What did Jason Adam? Let's see where Jason Adam is. Oops. That's probably not the best way to do it. 186 again. 0.88 whip. I'm looking at whips here. He's striking out less than 1 per inning, though. That's really surprising. Yeah, he could have definitely made it. But again, on the AL, we have only closers. So pretty mind-boggling that we have a non-closer here. Matt Strom was an interesting pick, but then again, trying to think of the closers in the in NL, and there's been a lot of guys like, for example, David Bednar is a normal guy who'd usually be there. He struggled. Lexus Diaz had a great year last year. He struggled. I'm trying to think of the other closers in the NL that could have taken a spot. I mean, Edwin Diaz, we know about him. Not an all-star. So maybe the lack of really good closers, and then Tanner Scott going too was how they got in. But who do we think are the snubs? I want to talk about the snubs. I want to go through each position and think they deserve them. Catcher, Salvi Perez, Adley Rutschman starting. Adley should start, 100%. I believe that. Salvador Perez hasn't really been catching a lot, but he is raked. So you got to put him somewhere. The DH with Yordan Alvarez and David Fry, those 2 guys have been doing incredibly. So give him the catching spot. Alvarado. Griffin Jax was snubbed. I would say Griffin was snubbed if there was another setup guy on the team, but there's not. Closers will always be given the right of way. Everyone's like, I've been asked a bunch of times, like, Trev, do you think you ever had an opportunity to make an all-star team? I was like, I had 2 pretty good years. I had 2 years where I could have been selected, but I wasn't the closer. There's 1 non-closer in the whole game. Look at all the numbers. Look at all the numbers. Look how many. Look at all the numbers. Look how many people there are here, and one of them is a closer that is a reliever that isn't a closer, and that's Matt Strom. Jake Irvin. I don't know if Jake has done enough yet. So let's go over like the biggest snubs. And I'll move this up, and then we're gonna make a little list here, okay? Snubs. The snubs. AL. We'll keep a little listy list here. All right. Why did I make this so heckin' big? Wait, hold on. That's what I wanted to do. I want to go here, here, All right, the snubs, boys and girls. The snubs. Continuing through, I think that Jose Ramirez, obviously, Altuve has raked this year. Gunnar Henderson, I think he deserves to start, especially with the number of homers he hit. But he was followed very closely by Bobby Witt. I think Bobby, it's so funny. I think Gunnar is probably behind Bobby in the MVP race, but I think Gunnar deserves to start the All-Star game. I know that's a weird thing to say. But in terms of starting pitchers, the starters, Adley Rutschman, Vlad, trying to think of a first baseman in the AL that's played better than Vlad, and he has had a good year. Altuve should be Ramirez 100%, Gunnar Henderson 100%, Aaron Judge, oh my God. Steven Kwan in the outfield and Juan Soto, yeah. All of those guys should, and then Yordan Alvarez, 100%. 100%. Who is the Angels rep? Where is the Tyler Anderson? Now, you guys got to okay, so the guys we think shouldn't have gone. We're going to go with Clay Holmes first. I don't know how to highlight this. So we're just going to go here. We're going to go red. Here, and then we want to say, we'll just circle the ones we think shouldn't be there. All right. Clay Holmes. I agree with that one. Clay Holmes, he started incredibly. He hasn't thrown as well as of late. And I think that you are correct in saying that maybe Andres Munoz or someone else could have deserved that. You think Carlos Santana was snubbed? That's interesting. I like the starters. Tyler Anderson, when you're going to go with the Angels, he's had the best year by far. Corbin Burns is arguably leading for the Cy Young. Clase has a .6. Crochet has leading the league in strikeouts. Logan Gilbert has thrown top to bottom one of the best years. Tanner Houck's been incredible. Seth Lugo is up there for the Cy Young. Mason Miller, we know about him. Cole Reagans actually has thrown much better as of late, but I don't know. I'm a little Cole Bear maybe basically just barely snuck in. And Tariq Skubal also up there for the Cy Young. And I'll say Kirby Yates as well. Tyler Anderson's had a very good year, yes. Definitely think Alex Vestia was snubbed in the NL. So, like we said, non-closing relievers, especially guys that don't throw in leverage every single time, which Vestia does not. No matter how good they throw, they're not going to make the All-Star team. Isaac Paredes over Josh Smith is a snub. So here's the thing. Isaac is a. So you think this guy doesn't deserve it? Let's look up his year, okay? Paredes. Isaac. 266, 14 bombs, 820 OPS. Pretty good. How's his defense? Terrible. How's his arm? Not good. He's been league average in xWOBA. And he just dead pull all of his homers. Yeah. Yeah, I see it. You said over. Yeah, I think Westberg probably should go over him. Then again, who's the Rays? The Rays only have one guy. So this is the Rays guy. So this is what happens, right? When every team needs somebody, someone's going to get left out. So we're going to say the snubs are Jordan Westberg. I agree with that. Jordan Westberg's been very, very good. Santander, I agree with Santander too. But you guys remember, how many guys, like these are both Orioles. Like how many Orioles are you going to put on the team? But I do like the one representative. I like the one representative per team because you have to represent all the team. Like it's for fun, guys. The All-Star game's for fun. So you need to have someone from every team. Yeah, there's going to be some guys that, like there's going to be pitchers with fours where their defense is so bad that no one can field the ball. You think that Simeon? See, that's the thing. I haven't heard about Simeon much either, so I want to see Simeon stats. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, it's Simi. What's happening? How do you spell Simeon? Simeon. It's not I. You guys got me. He's hitting 230. Oh, no shot. What the frick? Yeah, then put Josh Smith in. I got Josh Smith as a snub as well. Look at the difference here. 292, 830 OPS, 300 ABs. He's got 28 more hits. And he's not wearing BGs in his picture. Peripherally, it's not great, but he's played well. I think it looks like I got Devers. You guys get it. Let's see Willie Castro. .271, 7 homers. Very similar. No, Smith's having a better offensive year. But Willie's good defensively. And he also runs the bases really well. So he's a little bit more projectable. He's a little more consistent. He's had a really good year. He has, but I'll say Josh Smith's had a little bit of a better year. They're very similar. That's actually crazy. I would say I would give the nod to Josh Smith, but I'll give it to you. I'll put that in there. And you're pretty right. That is oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, let's try this again. Is that tight enough? Okay. So we'll put Josh Smith or / Willie Castro, huh? So I think I think you go with either one. I feel good about that. But again, if there should be, or maybe there should be a utility spot. Do we think there should be a utility spot? Maybe in the All-Star game, do you think there should be a utility spot like there's a DH spot? I think so. What's the harm of adding a utility guy? Or just like add just a utility guy to the reserves. They didn't have to start. Santander over Green. Let's check Riley Green. I haven't checked Riley Green either. See, that's the thing. These guys I haven't checked, it's probably because I haven't heard about them because they're not having the greatest year. 261, 856. Yeah, he's hit 17 homers, guys. So he's got juice. He walks. 500 slugging. That's a pretty good year, fam. Riley Green's pretty damn good. Holy hell. Let's compare that to Santander. 23 homers. 502 OPS. I think that's a coin flip too. I think this is a coin flip. But one's 29 and the other was 23. So I would say you could make a case. So let's put them on the we can have a case for Santander, and I will actually make a case. We're not going to say I'm not going to say Riley Green doesn't deserve because I think Riley Green is having a really good year. Kyle Tucker being a reserve is interesting because he's hurt. He was having an almost MVP season though up to that point, but yeah, that's a little goofy. And then we think Brent Rooker. And we will put Brent Rooker over David Fry. Just add locker room guy, get Danny Burgers in there for sunflower seed refills. Dude, I'd love him, dude. I love him. Check Rooker versus Fry. So I looked at Rooker. Rooker is breaking. He's hitting 280 with an 890 OPS, 18 homers. He had another one yesterday. I clicked on something I didn't mean to click on. Going back, 78 hits. It's funny. Everyone has like 317 plate appearances. That's the third guy we've seen with that many. Also, he's gotten so much better on his barrel rate. This is so much better. He's better than he was last year. Kyle Tucker, IMO. Well, Kyle Tucker's probably going to get replaced, so take him with a grain of salt. He's not going to go, so someone will get put in his place, but they haven't figured out who it's going to be. He's been very good, and he's not great in the outfield. We all know that, but he's also just DHing mostly. So I think Brett Rooker is definitely a snub, especially from an A's team. Now, you have to send Mason Miller, but maybe the A's should have gotten 2 players. And honestly, damn, he's not doing better than Yordan. I was like, maybe he's doing better than Yordan. He's not. Yordan deserves it. He's a freak. Kid's a freak. Fastest kid alive. What the frick, man? So, oh yeah, we want to check Fry. David Fry. How's he doing lately? 920 OPS though, guys. 226 ABs though, man. I don't think he's played enough. How many games has he played in? $187 ABs versus what was Rooker's? 286. He's got 100 less ABs than Rooker. Yeah, I don't know if 187 ABs is enough, man. I to be a DH. Classic Andy. Welcome back. El Compafair as well. Oh, I already thanked you. 28 months. Can I get some teammate ones in the chat? Thank you guys so much. Jordan had a slow start. Yeah, they all have. That team's. I hate watching them. I hate watching them like I. Oh, it's awful. It's awful watching them play good. Fry was injured. Fry was injured, huh? And he still made the All-Star game. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Fry's out and Rooker should take his spot. So we would put. Come on, let's draw some cool arrows here. We'll put like Rooker there. We would put Josh Smith or cool arrow Trevor. Thanks, guys. Santander there. Westberg we put in for Isak. And then we'd probably put Santander possibly in for Riley Green, or Jarren Duran. Possibly. But I think most of these are just coin flips. But I like all the starters. I think the starters are good. I think the starters are right. You guys agree with that? You guys think the starters are right? Because I believe so. Like the same thing, I think. Okay, so first of all, we have 2 backups for pretty much everything except for outfielders. We only have 1. Brenton Doyle, again, he's on the worst team in the league. Like, it's hard to get on as the worst team in the league. I don't think Simmons should start. Well, he's not. He's not on the starters. These are the starters. These are the starters. These are the reserves. These are the starters. These are the reserves. All right, so let's talk about the pitchers. We already think Clay Holmes is probably not great. Who should replace Clay Holmes? We said maybe Griffin. Taylor Scott. Taylor Scott wouldn't make it. Andres Munoz. Let's check Munoz because he got hurt a little bit too. Pretty good. 14 saves, 1 whip. Oh yeah, no shot. Clay Holmes should not be an All-Star. Clay Holmes should not be an All-Star. Not only that, him and Munoz aren't even comparable. Craig Kimbrell, 2-1, 23 saves, .9 whip, 52 Ks. Kimbrell's also way better than Holmes. How's Estevez? He's thrown much better as of late, though he only has 28 strikeouts in 28 innings. He's only thrown 28 innings, guys. He's not enough appearances, though he's thrown very well lately. I just don't think he, with Tyler Anderson making the game, Estevez probably isn't going to make it, though he is going to be on the trade deadline block. I think Estevez might be one of the best guys out there for relieving. So let's throw those guys in. Let's actually take this up here. I don't need to put AL here. What am I doing? Okay. So we want to say, I'm not going to move these. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We said Craig Kimbrell, Griffin Jacks. All of those guys are better than Holmes. How's Kenley done? 2, 18 saves, 31 innings. He's got 31 appearances. Yeah, it's close. It's close. I think that if there was another non-closer in there, I think he just misses it. And it's just because of the number of games. If he threw 38 games and had these stats, yes, but there's just better closers. There's just better closers right now. So, is he better than Mason Miller? No. Is he better than Kirby Yates? Honestly, no. No, he is not. Kirby Yates deserves it. Holy hell, I did not know Kirby was throwing this well. Yannier Cano or Kyle Finnegan. So Cano is AL. I don't know about Cano. Hold on. So Yannier hasn't been closing all year. He's got a 3. No, he shouldn't be on there. He's thrown a lot of games. He's got a 1-3 whip. He's walking way too many guys. It's a solid year. It's a good year. He's having a good year, but this is a little even inflated. Or a little bit deflated. 1-3-1 whip is way too high. Way too high. It's a good way to represent like how consistent they've been. So I think he's the biggest one. He should definitely be there. Mason Miller should definitely be there. Emmanuel Clase should definitely be there. I think Clay Holmes is nothing. No, he's nowhere close to these 3 guys this year. And we should definitely have probably Munoz followed by Kimbrell. And then Griffin Jackson can make a case, but I think so. Brian Abreu, again, he started so weak, though he's had a very good year since. Clase has a 0.6, Kirby Yates has a 0.6, and Mason Miller, I think he has a 2.5, but he struck out everybody. So, should he be there over Holmes? Yes. Ooh, Grayson Rodriguez over Cole Ragans. Joe Ryan? No, not Joe Ryan. Hunter Gaddis? Again, we can just say, okay, we can say, I'll just do this. 5 setup men. All right? It's only closers, guys. Setup guys don't make the All-Star team. Ever. All right? In terms of starting pitching, what we say? We said Cole Ragans, Blanco over Cole Ragans. We want Blanco or Grayson Rodriguez. Let's check those real quick. Grayson as a 3.52. No, that's not an all-star. That's not an all-star for that team. They have too many all-stars. And if Westberg didn't make it, Grayson's had a good year, but that's not an all-star year. So I don't agree with that one. Blanco. .25, 88. Now Blanco. Let's check Ragans. Is it Ragans or I don't know. It's close. Ragans has gone deeper into games. He's 8 more innings. I honestly think the sticky stuff thing probably has a lot to do with the Blanco thing. Let's check Flaherty. He's had a very good year too. I would say Flaherty. I would take Flaherty even over Blanco. Because he's been dominant, man. I don't know. I think what's happening is we're getting the strikeout numbers in the inning pitch. I think he's leading the league in innings. Reagans. Okay, cool. Good. I've been saying it right the whole time. I think Cole Reagans is the right answer, probably, but I think you could make a case. You could probably make a case for Rona Blanco. No, not Blanco. I think Blanco just misses it. I think Flaherty. How do you spell Flaherty? Flaherty. I think Jack barely misses too. But I'm, it is what it is, right? All right, let's do snubs for the NL. Do the NL snubs here. Actually, I probably should put NL. Then just make it smaller. All right. Let's say, who do we think the guys who should not have made the team are over here? Okay, how do we feel about the starters? Let's start here. William Contreras is catcher? I think so. Bryce Harper starting at first base? I think so. Ketel Marte has had a great year. Alec Boehm is playing very well. Trey Turner's playing very well. Jerks Profar has been nasty. Fernando Tatis, I think you can make a case for Fernando being a reserve. I think he's an all-star. But I don't think he might start. It's interesting. Yelich is raking and Shohei, obviously. So, I don't know. Let's go with an orange here on Tatis. Not that, Tatis is definitely an all-star. So, that's the caveat here. Let's go yellow for him. NL is a really weak. Okay, so let me check Trey, because last time I checked Trey stats, he was insane. I mean, he's hitting 330. I mean, yeah, he's hurt a little bit. He doesn't have a lot of ABs, but he's hitting 335. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about 335, and he's on the best team in the league. So, okay, maybe. No, I think he should. For right now, I think he should start. Tatis is all right. He's good. So now let's get into. All right, we're gonna talk about Nimmo and Lindor. Let's just do it. How much does Focus Fuel cost? With 10% off, it's like, I think this pack right here. So it's 30 pieces. $11.99 for 30 pieces, which is a lot. I take one a day, so this is a month worth. $12, I think. Okay, so let's do Glass now, yes. Helsley, yes. Hoffman, we looked at that, yes. Shota Imanaga, of course. Reynaldo has thrown great, and he's been a Braves. Been great for them. Sale, honestly, has been very good. Tanner Scott's the Marlins only guy, and he's thrown really well lately. Skeens, the Matt Strom has thrown really well. He's interesting to me. Now I want to know if anyone else, because he's only has 7 holds, so he's not even throwing in leverage. Robert Suarez is having a great year. Logan Webb is Logan Webb. Zach Wheeler. I like the pitchers too. Logan Webb leads the league in hits allowed. He's also thrown 120 innings, fam. But he's also the Giants' only guy, isn't he? Again, he's the Giants' only guy. So we can give Logan Webb one of these too. Let's give him a probably not. How's that sound? Just for the sake of conversation. That's Zach Wheeler. What am I doing? Giants have Ramos. Good point. Good point. You're right. Ramos is a backup. Elio. Yeah. By the way, so who said Jackson Merrill was a snub? He's literally in. So Webb still really good. Yeah, I mean, I freaking love Logan Webb. I think he's their best pitcher. I think he's the most consistent guy on the planet. All right. Okay. So of the guys on the benches, who do we think should not be here? I'm gonna be honest. I love you, Pete, but man, probably not. Sorry. C.J. Abrams, yeah. Ellie De La Cruz, honestly. I think it's a little too harsh. Arias has no business being here. Let's check Arias. Louis Arias. 312, 118 hits. What is he in as? A second baseman? Who do we think should be there over Arias? Well, okay, let me check Ketel Marte. 285 with an 860 OPS, 17 homers. Ketel Marte should be off? Kidding me? Bryce Trang, 6 homers, 750 OPS. Solid. He's having a very good year. 29 stolen bases. That's pretty good, sure. 91 hits. Bryce Trang is an all-star. He is an all-star, but no pop. And that's the interesting thing. He should at least be on there, though. Maybe over Arias. I might give you that. He's hitting 312. and he's leading the league in hits. Strang is 4th in the NL WAR. Okay. This one's tough, boys and girls. But I'll give it to you. I will give it to you. I'll say Louis Arias probably is a guy that's on the line here. So let's go for the NL. Our snubs are Bryce Trang. I agree with that. Bryce Trang is a snub. I'll say Christian Walker. Big snub. Big snub. Look at this. Christian Walker is raking. 270, 850, 22 jacks. He's got more homers, better average, better on base, better slugging. So will Christian Walker be added to their injuries? Yeah, I bet you Christian Walker is the number 1 guy at the top of the list. Joey Ortiz? Joey Ortiz. I'm always blown away with the number of Brewers fans we have here on the show. 270, 7 homers, 870. Yeah, he's pretty good. Third base. Let's see who is in there for third base right now. Alec Bohm. I think Alec Bohm is the starter. That's right. Ryan McMahon. He's also hitting the ball hard. .270 with 14. It's not so cut and dry. I think you can make a Joey Ortiz case. Who's the better defender, though? Ortiz. Yeah. They're very good. They're both very good. McMahon's the only Rocky. He's going to get the nod. McMahon's going to get the nod. So, but I would say maybe you could say Joey Ortiz. I would say, okay, instead of Ellie, though. Someone asked for Gavin Stone. Did you get that one? I did not. Gavin Stone, I think you can make a case, but this is a pretty good starting group. Like Christian Sanchez didn't make it, right? I there's not a lot of starting pitchers here that you can really argue with at this point. Ellie is second in F4. I love that we're like, hey guys, Ellie's second in F4. What's he in B War? Because they're different freaking numbers, like that are weighted differently. The fact that those two numbers are completely different should give you a pause. Ellie has stolen 40 bags. Yeah, he's also been caught a lot. I think Ellie. Again, we talked about this. The guy is the most dynamic player in the major leagues. He's like, him and Tatis are the most athletic dudes I've ever seen. But he strikes out like 38% of his ABs. He literally goes weeks without doing anything. He is constantly running when he shouldn't run. So it's like, yeah, he's got a cannon, and he also throws it halfway up the freaking net one of every 5 throws. So it's like, yeah, it's impressive. He just hasn't. It's not quite there yet, which I think it will get there. But let's stop acting like he's there when he's not yet. He hasn't developed into the player he's going to be, in my opinion. And we just kind of run on his, like, he's just fun to watch, which I get. It's fun. It's great. But, like, there's a distinct difference between his performance and everyone else on this list. He's going to be scary. Exactly. But let's stop acting like he is now. I agree with that 100%. I think so. Repulsive Mon, Prime Sub. I'm a big fan. I hope he becomes the greatest player we've ever seen. It has nothing to do with hating on him. I'm just saying, like, let's stop acting like he is doing that right now, because he's not. So, not quite, but he is better than he was last year, and I believe that next year he's going to be better than he is this year. And he is stealing lots of bags. I get it. And he's got some stuff that, like, if you don't stop striking out that much, like, you're going to get exploited, and pitchers are always going to have a field day facing you. So, can you do Christopher Sanchez versus Logan Webb? Ooh, let's do Chris Sanchez. Let's throw him in here. He does his interviews now in English. Very nice. Star Wars or Harry Potter? Both. Those are not different. Those are not the same. Those are completely different things. Jonathan India over Arias. Jonathan India. Let's check Jonathan India. No. He's not better enough. He's a little bit better, but not a lot better. They just love Arias because of his hitting, and I get it. I get it. Let's check CJ Abrams. I want to just double check. $282. Oh yeah, he definitely deserves to be in there. That's 100%. I agree with that. I like these Teoscar 2, Jackson Merrill, Heliot Ramos. I like these guys because they're older. Brian Reynolds is not a snub because he's literally right here. Marcell Ozuna is the Braves' best hitter by far. What is the difference between F-War and B-War, and is B-War more important? Neither one of them are more important than the other one. They just weight. They value other metrics differently, and honestly, they're proprietary, and no one really knows how they do it. But I think people just choose the one that looks better. Arias hasn't even been playing. Yeah, it's like they tried to find a weak spot to put him in. So I would say I would probably take Bryce Terang over Arias at this moment. With Arias like replacing maybe Mookie. Because now we got Mookie's probably not going to play, or he's definitely not going to play in the game. So that's going to be a replacement. So we might still see Terang. We might still see Joey Ortiz. And we might see Francisco. Again, He's so good defensively that makes his WAR better, but his hitting hasn't quite got back to where he wants it to be, though it has improved a lot. And he's been clutch lately too. So I think you can make a case. I think he's still a little bit on the outside looking in. Joe Jimenez? You think Joe Jimenez should have made it over Matt Strom? F4 for pitchers based on FIP. B-WARs for pitchers based on ERA, kinda. Yikes. Okay, B-WAR based on ERA. You shouldn't base anything. Trevor McGill has been closing. Ellie's already been selected to replace Betts for injury. Oh, Ellie was the selection. Oh, they snuck him in. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, so yeah, B-War sucks. B-War sucks, especially for relievers. Terrible. Michael King, let's see if Michael King sneaks in. I don't know who, but we don't have any start. Maybe for Logan Webb. Is Michael King that much better than Logan Webb? Let's see. No, not even close. Ellie's the only Reds player. Double interesting. So if you don't do Ellie, who else would it be? John India. Okay. Hunter Gaddis over Holmes. I know Holmes has been controversial. Period. Unfortunately, he is not a closer, so he's not going to make it. Mason Wynn. No Mason Wynn, huh? I know we checked Mason last week. No, it's Mason Wynn. 290, shortstop. Has he been good defensively, though? That's the question. Let's see. He hasn't been that great defensively. He's been good. He's hit, he's ran, but he's got 9 stolen bases. He's not doing anything like exceptionally. He's just been very, very good. Have I checked Nimmo? No, I have not. Let's check Nimmo. Nimmo's up to 250. 13 homers, though. Look at you, boy. 811. Very nice. Been pretty solid overall. I mean, Helios crushing the ball. I don't know, guys. I don't think you can say Nimmo over Ramos. Sorry. Nims is doing very well, but he's hitting 250. Imanaga? You don't think Imanaga should be? 316. Is he the only Cub, though? Is he the only Cub? I think he's the only Cub. Yeah, he's the only Cub. So, again, he's on a last place team. He's the only Cub. He is their all-star. He's their best player. Nimmo versus Teoscar. That's interesting. I think you could say that. So I could put Nimmo over Teoscar. Let's throw Nimmo in here, all right? All right, let's draw out who these guys will replace, and we're going to move on. Nimmo could replace Teoscar Hernandez. I want to get red on this, actually. Oops. What the hell did I just do? Oh, I created a new board. We're just going to draw over that. Boop. Okay. Francisco Lindor instead of Ellie. Chris Sanchez instead of Logan Webb. Gavin Stone instead of Logan Webb. Joey Ortiz instead of Ellie De La Cruz. Christian Walker instead of Pete. Bryce Trang instead of Luis Arias. Honestly, Ortiz could go over Ryan McMahon too. But again, McMahon is the only Rockies guy. The Brewers have a couple guys. There's only one non-closer in the whole game. That's Matt Strom. He's thrown really well, though I would say you could replace Matt Strom with a closer. I don't know. But again, we got to remember some of these guys were hurt. Lamont Wade was hurt. Freaking, you know, Sonny Gray hurt. Not as many innings. Maybe Thyro? Nah, Thyro not really, can't make it in either. I don't think he's done enough. So, I think you guys are pretty based. So who do we think who is the biggest snub? Let's end it with this. Who's the biggest snub on the AL? The biggest snub. The guy who should have been in and isn't, and it's absolute BS. Which one do you think is the biggest snub? I would say it's between Westberg, Santander, and Rooker. I think Rooker really got hurt. He's got on almost 900 OPS. He's hit almost 20 home runs. He's done it in the park that's tough. I would say Santander would be a close second, and then Westberg tied with Santander. But I'd say Rooker. I would give Rooker the biggest one because I think Rooker could be in here. I think Rooker's had a more productive season than David Fry. I think David Fry's had a very good year, but I don't think it's better than Rooker. I think Christian Walker, Pete going over Walker is kind of robbery. I do. I love Pete. Pete's one of my favorite people, but yeah, I really do. I don't know if Logan Webb's been that much worse than Gavin Stone and Chris Sanchez, so I don't think that's a big one. And then maybe Bryce Trang would be second. And then the biggest guys probably are Clay Holmes. I would put Munoz over Holmes. And it's not close. So I think maybe Clay Holmes is the biggest one that needs to be off of the AL team, and probably Logan Webb is the first one to go from the National League, and then Pete Alonso, Christian Walker for Pete Alonso over here, and then I would say Brent Rooker for David Fry over here. Those are my biggest ones. Merrill versus Tatis. I mean, guys, they're on the same team. They're on the same team. And they both made it, so I'm trying not to go down these rebels. Sporer. Hey, dude. What up, bro? Paul, how you doing, man? Merrill, 288, 775. Honestly, that was not as good as I thought it was going to be. 280 with 822. Look at this, though. I'm giving Tatis. Oh, Tatis is injured. Oh, I didn't know that. Do you think Tatis, the Merrill goes to start then? I think so, probably. Merrill moves into the starting spot. Okay, so then if Tatis is hurt, Merrill takes his spot, then I bet you Nimmo is the next guy up for an outfielder. Theo starting over Tatis, that's a tough outfield. Huh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, I like that. I like that for our final. And that's Snubs All-Star teams. Can't wait to go see them, guys. I'm going to the All-Star game. If you got content you want me to record when I'm there, you should do it. Why no love for Assad? I haven't looked at him yet. Let me check Assad real quick and we're going to move on. Chat, we're going to be extending the stream. Assad's hurt too. He's got a 3. He's got a 128 whip and a 3. I mean, it's a good year. It's not a great year. It's a good year, not a great year. That's not an all-star year. Not when you're on the worst team in the league. Not in the league, in the division. Sorry. Not in the league, in the division. Rockies are worse. But could have been. Yeah, he could have been. I mean, you can make a case. He's a fringe. He's a fringe guy. There's some guys. There's some guys that are fringe guys. So peripherally, he's not great. But that doesn't matter. It's about how you actually did. So cool. I like it. Give yourself a round of applause. Do I believe in the expected stats? Of course I do. Yeah. I think it gives you underlying idea of what their potential is. I don't take it as this guy is this good right now. I just have it take it as an opportunity to improve, or that if you consistently do the same thing you're doing, you're going to be successful more often than someone who doesn't have as good expected stats, if that makes sense. Munoz was a snub. Oh, he was one of our biggest snubs. Yeah, he was our biggest snubs. All right, cool. Great job. Awesome. So cool. All right, guys. I have one other segment here that I want to do really, really quickly. And then I'm going to get into your questions. We're just going to answer questions for the rest of the stream. So get ready, guys. Get ready. But today's teaching moment. Okay, hold on. We want to do a teaching moment. You guys ready to learn about some crap? Let's do it. It is time to teach. It's time to teach you how it's done. I think this is going to work now. I'm excited. Go here. All right. So, last week, we talked about the Mariners' offense, and they did something since then that is exactly what I'm talking about. So this segment, or this idea that I'm talking about, is called three-step baseball, okay? I apologize for this acronym. I couldn't think of anything better. But basically, everything you do on a baseball field is a three-step process. Everything. Every single thing. I thought of it this way when I was pitching in 2012. Analyze, focus, and execute. Everything falls into these three categories. You're analyzing the situation and choosing what you're going to do. You're focusing on what you're going to do, and then you're physically doing what you're going to do. Over and over again. That is the three-step process of playing the game. Hitters do it. They have their scouting report. They focus on what they're going to do and their approach, and then they try to do it. Hitters, they have their scouting report. They make their decision. They focus, and then they try to do it. Teams, they try to figure out what their philosophy is going to be. They focus on, everyone needs to focus on what their job is at any given moment, and then they go out and they try to execute it. Like, everything is that over and over and over again. All right? Do you love Wes Johnson as a coach? That is a great question. Yes, I do. He's awesome. So we talked last week about how the Mariners, they strike out a lot, but it's not a talent issue, right? Teoscar Hernandez is not a bad hitter, but he struck out a lot with the Mariners. There's something to do with the park. There's something to do with the stuff. There's something there too. That doesn't help. It's not an easy place to hit, but there's something about their approach to how they win games. And I gave the example of Julio Rodriguez is the guy on that team that is the guy you don't want to beat you. And so he has a certain amount of gravitas where guys like, I don't want to miss here to this guy because he can take me deep. There's a little bit of more nervousness when you face him. The fact that he gets himself out constantly on the first pitch, doesn't allow the game to develop. What actually happened was Byron Buxton hit a 3-run homer in the top of the 7th inning. Okay, it's 5-1 now. It was 2-1. It's 5-1. Pablo Lopez goes back out now he has a 4-run lead, so he's feeling really loose. He's like, all I got to do is throw the ball over the plate. Julio needs to work in AB because you need to get to the bullpen. What you need to do is get on base, put some pressure on Pablo, and see if you guys can score a couple runs before they bring in the relievers, okay? What's he do? He gets a fastball in and explodes his bat and pops up first pitch. Rally's killed. Momentum is fully to the Twins. The game's over, in my opinion. I was like, it's your job to get on base. You didn't do it. And he wasn't thinking that way. He was thinking, I'm going to hit a grand slam right here with no one on base. And he couldn't do that. And that drives me crazy. I hate it. It's called giving up. It's called punting. And I don't like it when they punt. All right? So what you need to do is realize I need to get on base so that Cal has an opportunity to hit something extra base. We got to get on second, third with nobody out. Maybe we have something cooking. They did that this week, and they did it on the 4th. Okay? So the things I was talking about last week, they actually did it this week. And I want to show you what it looked like. This is the 7th inning against the Orioles. It's 2-2. Baker comes in. And we have. Where am I at? Julio Rodriguez, AB. All right? He doesn't swing at the first pitch. Game's tied. Bottom of the 7th, right? He's like, I need to get on base here. Slider close. Right now, he's like, only hit the stuff in the box. You can tell. I can tell that he's intending to work a pitch. Work an AB. He's working an AB. This isn't just like, oh, I'm swinging the bat better. No, this is his brain. The reason he's so streaky is because of his brain, not because of his body. There he goes. Gets a good pitch, hits it into the gap at about 100 billion, gets on base. One. He got the 1-1. He could have popped up that first pitch trying to take the go-ahead, get the go-ahead run. So then what happens? Ty France comes up. Take strike one. He's like, I don't need to swing at the first pitch and get out. I need to see some pitches. He sees another pitch. He's like, dang, just missed that. Doesn't chase. Tries to get him up. Doesn't chase it. That won't go, blah, blah, blah. He goes 0-2 and works 0-2 to a walk. I don't know why nothing is loading. God damn it. Oh, my God. 1 second. Oh, we're there already. Cool. Okay, so he walks. So we get a grade AB, a double, and then a grade AB. And then what happens the rest of this inning? Rojas, yeah, he tries to work it, but he strikes out, okay? Then Bliss strikes out. But then Crawford, 3-1 pitch, deep count, takes the fastball, hits it into the gap. Freaking finally. And then Mitch Garver gets to a heater up and puts it out of reach. They were handing it off to each other. They worked 2 really good walks. Ty France with an 0-2 walk, grade AB. They load the bases for Crawford. Double. I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. That is what I want to see when a team has a philosophy on how they score runs and they put themselves in a position to put up a crooked number and win a game handily. And they did it. And it was so fun to watch. They looked good that inning is because collectively they had a collective approach to, I'm going to get on base so this guy can hit me in. I'm not going to try to just be the one that hits the homer. They're all trying to hit the homer all the time. They've been this way for a long time. Drives me nuts. Hard to watch. All right? So, they did that great. So, let me talk about this aggregately because I think this might be interesting to you guys. Okay? Where is the iPad? Welcome to the iPad. Baseball 3 steps are analyze, focus, execute. Every time. Every freaking time. So let me talk about it as how you should put together your team to hit. You should know what you're doing. What am I doing right now? What are you trying to accomplish? Julio finally did it. I'm so happy. Julio needs to understand that he is, when I'm preparing for a team, I would say, this is the guy that I don't want to beat me. So that's Aaron Judge, that's Juan Soto, that's Bryce Harper, so on and so forth. This guy, we don't want this guy to have the big hit that beats us, the Mike Trouts. If we got to pitch around somebody, we're going to pitch around him, right? Which means there's pressure to get you out for very little effort. So you're going to get nibbly. You're going to get... Soto is one of the best in the world at taking advantage of this. So that's why he does the shuffle. It's all to play this up. Like, yeah, I know you're nervous because I'm Juan Soto. You got to know that about yourself. But baseball's not like basketball. You can't just take over. You can't just pass the ball, right, to Anthony Edwards, and then he scores 50 and you guys win, and all he does is everything. You can't do that in baseball. If Julio's hot, they can go walk him 4 times as he does nothing. He does nothing. So what do you do when you take those 4 walks and you pass it off to the next guy on your team? That's called a hitting philosophy, right? So you have to understand you are the guy that they don't want to beat you, so you can work counts with that in mind. But when you're Julio, he never walks. He swings at everything. He chases way too much, and he's young, but there's young guys who don't do that. So Soto was doing this at 19. So it's possible. But you have to know You have to know what you do well. Your team. How do we score runs? You look around, you go, I get on base and you hit me in. That's how we score runs. So when you're in game, how do you make that happen? You have to be thinking like that all the time. I don't think the Mariners do. I think they get a little bit, let's get the game over with. Then, lock in. You got to lock in and do it. Focus, be in the moment, be like, okay, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm looking for. I know what I'm looking for. I've decided what I'm looking for. So now I'm committed to looking for that. That's the focus part. That's the middle part. That's the pitch coming. That's the about to throw the pitch. The middle part, the focus part is so important and people skip it. Don't talk about it ever. I had to focus on it a lot. So the focus part is committing to what you're doing. And then execution, you do it. You hit and run. Do your best to accomplish the hit and run. But you have to know what you're trying to do, and you have to lock in on what you're doing before you can do the third part. And I feel like there's not enough emphasis on the analyze and focus part, and everyone's just worried about the execute part. All right? Oh, it does. You're right. It does look like that. Hold on. Talk in, dude. Talk in, boys and girls. So when it comes to pitching, same thing. What do I want to throw? Why do I want to throw it? Okay, I'm throwing this here. And then you do your best to do it. By the way, this is going to be the basis for everything I do in Neptune pitching when I'm talking about pitching. This is my in-depth analysis crap, all right? So I want to do a channel that's devoted to this. I want to do more live this stuff. I want to do like live streams like this, or maybe just like in Discord, we do where you go and you just live in there and you can ask questions in real time. We're not doing it live on stream, where I can talk about more in-depth stuff like this. But this is something that I thought was interesting because I noticed the Mariners finally committed to it a little bit or executed better, and it looked like they knew what they were trying to do a little bit more clearly. So, when in doubt, analyze, focus, and execute. AFE. I feel like there should be an S and it could be like safe, but like that's stupid. All right. So that was my little teaching moment. I thought that would be interesting. I'm going to expand on this more, but I mean, if you were bored and you fell asleep, I apologize. All right. Let's do some breakdowns and let's answer some questions. How do you throw a cutter? This was my four-seam fastball. That was a cutter. When I released the ball, I supinated and it would cut like that. So it spins, instead of being back spun, it would be slightly off to the side like this. That's how you throw a cutter. If the third one was easier, yeah, that's the hard part. But you can't skip the first two to get to the third one. O'Neal Cruz hit a moon bomb? No way. Julio, it sure seems like focus. But again, you don't know. You don't know if he, like, it's his approach. You don't know if he's thinking about his approach. That's the thing I always talk to hitters about. I'm like, what are you trying to do? Like, what do you think he's trying to do to you? And how does that inform what you're trying to do? Pete Alonso said something to me once. I go, Pete, do you think you can hit everything? And he goes, yeah. He's confident. He goes, I think I can hit every pitch. I'm like, cool. Should you? And he goes, probably not. I'm like, no, it's not a probably, it's a no. You shouldn't. Bobby Witt Jr. in the home run? Good. I think it's gonna be fun. What does shape mean when talking about pitches? Literally when you throw it, what if you were to put a tail on the back of the ball, what shape does that make? Oh, Fredbird! Oh, no TTS today, huh? Well, I don't know why it's on sometimes, why it's not on sometimes. I'll read it out loud, though. 500 bits from M. Fredbird. Trevor, did you know that Abe Lincoln, our 16th president, was a boxer with over 300 recorded wins? Eventually inducted into the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Boom. Mind blown. Gross. That one was tough. That's not a dad joke. Damn. Do players like off days, or do they like playing a lot of consecutive games? They love off days. They just don't want too many in a row. How can the Mariners fix their season? Everything I just said. All of the things I just said, that. They need to build around Julio. And they need to be grindy. And they need to grind ABs. They need to be a team that makes pitchers throw them lots of pitches, even if they're not getting lots of hits, because they're not getting lots of hits and they're not having long ABs. So they need to. What would be a good alternative to a splitter having smaller hands? I threw a seam shifted circle changeup like that. But like I said, I supinate. I threw like this, and you get the arm side run with that by gripping it across these two seams, a little bit off center. And this is my changeup. Who do you think wins the World Series? I got the Orioles winning the World Series. Vulcan change may get you there too, maybe. But a Vulcan change again, it's just like if you have too small of hands again, more Vulcans will be very hard to throw. It's just a splitter with different fingers. All right, let's do some questions from the chat because I have a few from Discord and I want to talk about them. Here's the best questions I've gotten of the week, and I think they're awesome. So let's show it to you. Sorry, I apologize for the number of. Let me turn this off. Why do pitchers, or sorry that only a few people have their names on here. I'm going to put everyone's name moving forward. Why do pitchers throw out so many baseballs? Because they're terrible. It's mostly environment related. So some balls are more slick than others. Some balls are heavier. Sometimes they're super dusty. Sometimes the guy behind the plate's been sweating so much that they're all wet. It could be all kinds of stuff. Q&A. It could be all kinds of stuff. How do you throw your slider? Which one? Sweeper. Gyro. Sweeper and gyro. Those are the two different ones. So, yeah, so whenever the baseball feels different than what you're used to, you throw it out. And you just do that as much as you can. And sometimes you throw a baseball out just to get a little blow because MLB has removed your ability to catch your breath. So because you can't call timeout, some guys are just throwing a ball out every once in a while for that. Most of the time, I throw baseballs out when they've been hit. Because every time there's a dent, because they're fragile. So they just get like dented or scuffed, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. Because I don't want scuffs. I don't want to get a bunch of weird movement I don't know about. So that's why pitchers throw out baseballs. They're a bunch of dumb, weird stuff. You like the approach of playing the batter's confidence against him. I remember Greg Maddux would give batters confidence before striking them out purposely. Yeah. Greg Maddux also had 1 foot off the edge of the he could throw things that he knew were either going to be swung at or called a strike that weren't strikes or hittable, which that's something that people can't do now. So he had more of an ability to do that, or more like space to do it. But that said, I still think he would have done it now. Okay. Next question. When a fan base or even a front office says around the trade season, like, we could use another arm in the pen or we need some outfield help, does a player in that situation, reliever or outfielder, sort of look around and go, wait, is that my job they're coming for? Like, if you're going to trade for somebody or whatever, you notice that they would be in your spot if not. Do players discuss internally what trade deadlines move they hope for? A little bit. And this is case by case. Some teams are really in on it, some aren't. Yes, but every single guy knows. Like, they are abundantly aware. Trust me. Everyone knows about the threats to their jobs. And it sucks. So don't get it twisted. That is something that is regularly in people's minds. All of us. I mean, everyone's even like irrationally afraid of getting DFA'd at all times, all the time. What do you think about Robert to the Mariners? Do you really need help? I would love Robert to go to the Mariners. I don't know what they could trade for it. But But yeah. Are there any superstitions you had while playing? Literally everything I did was a superstition. How do you feel about hitters pimping home runs? Pimp away. But if you're trying to punk me, if you look at me, if you're trying to say, yo, I'm better than you, you're not. So just know when you come up next, I'm gonna have a little extra. And good luck. Because guys didn't fare very well against me when I had a little extra. But I like that. I like thinking about it that way because then it gives me a little bit more energy. It actually has nothing to do with the guy at all. It's just it's a Michael Jordan way, right? You get there and you're like, let me make up this slight so that I can get a little bit of in there, a little more adrenaline, just a little bit. But yeah, I think as a viewer, awesome. Most time. There's some things that are just like, you can tell it's just a dude patting himself on the back. But when guys are like celebrating with their teams, like I love Byron Buxton's celebrations. They're always with the guys. I think it's pretty clear who's doing that, who's not. There's not a lot of, it's pretty easy to tell. Velo slap, dude, the Velo slap. Yeah, we're like, why are these pitchers obsessed with Velo? Why is everyone getting hurt? And then we see just video after video of a bunch of dudes without their shirts on, slapping their back and then throwing as hard as they can into a net. As a batter struggling to plate last couple of games, what should be the approach for that batter? Is this for you, Eddie? What do you think? What do you think has gone wrong? Why do you think you've been struggling? Harper pimp jobs? Oh yeah, I think Harper does a great pimp job. Honestly, the swing and like the slow walk, and you watch it. If you watch the ball, I think that's a great rule of thumb, guys. If you're pimping a homer and you just watch it, like, and you walk slowly, don't stand still. Move, but you can move slow. Walk slow if you want. Celebrate with your teammates. Watch the ball. You're good. You're good. If you're a guy who yells at every single guy around the bases, you're yelling at the position players, you're going to get thrown at, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's nothing, I don't have anything for you. Have I thought about coaching? A lot. Okay. On to question 3. You just finished watching Major League. You wake up tomorrow. Your phone keeps blowing up with calls from Cleveland. Apparently you landed a movie role while you slept, and you're now the GM for the Guardians. The director wants to make a remake of the Major League, but the parts will be played by current or former teammates of yours. Who gets that role? So, wait, I'm the GM? Okay, so Miguel Sano is Pedro Serrano. That was easy. Easy. I will give Willie Mays Hayes would be Ellie De La Cruz, bruh. No, he's too good. He's got too much pop. I want someone with no pop. Jazz. Oh, Akil Baddoo? Yeah, dude, Akil Baddoo is a great one. I like Baddoo a lot, too. Esturi, maybe. I think Baddoo's a great call, or Jazz. But again, Jazz got pop, too. I want guys with, like, I mean, Akil's got a little bit of pop, too. I mean, everyone's got pop. I'd say Jazz would crush that. Maybe Lamont Wade?
I don't understand.
Shut up. Oh, who else? Ricky Vaughn. Mason Miller, bro. I mean, yeah, it's James Karinchak. He copied him. I don't like that. Don't do everything he does exactly. You know what I mean? But I get it. I would say Karinchak if he didn't want it so badly. Mason Miller. Who else is Ricky Vaughn? He wants it too much. Yeah, he wants it too much. Who's Jake Taylor? Justin Turner. I'm also trying to think of guys. Justin Turner's third baseman. Justin Turner's Dorn. Oh, Austin Hedges. It's Austin Hedges 100%. It's Hedges. Bauer would make a great Mon. Yeah, but he's a starter. I'm thinking relievers. Rich Hill is Harris. Rich Hill's Harris. Maybe Dorrance Donaldson, maybe? Nah, just kidding. JK. He's retired anyways. Matt Chapman? Nah. Nah, he's cool. I like Ty France has got to be Dorn. Yeah, you can crush it. I like that. I like that. I like that. Ty France is Dorn. I like that a lot. I wasn't his teammate, but I'm trying to think of current or former teammates of mine. No, I like those. I like those calls, guys. And then if we're talking about number 2, Rube is Pete Alonso. Who plays Lou Brown? It's Jim Leland. Next question, Your Honor. Pedro Serrano is to know, 100%. Tastic with the branding prime sub. What up, dude? Thank you so much. Yeah, Serrano is definitely Miguel Sano. Ooh, JT Romito, but JT's still really good. I'm talking about like a backup catcher's type, like a Chris Jimenez, Bobby Wilson. There for vibes. Austin Hedges. It's Hedgie. It's Hedgie no matter what. Hedgie is my Jake Taylor. Hedgie, you're my Jake Taylor, bro, all day. I think you'll like that. That was a good question. Thank you so much for that one. Grapefruit League or Cactus League for spring training? The top reason why you pick one or the other. The Cactus League, and it ain't even close. Grapefruit is the worst. Florida sucks. The travel's terrible. It rains every freaking day. Every single restaurant is a chain. It's Florida. It's too far. It's God's waiting room. Now Arizona is too, kind of, and they're very similar in that way. But I was also tired of getting side-eyed in every single gated community I lived in because I was young. It just drove me crazy. But good taxes. So yeah, Cactus League's, it's like not even comparable at this point. So okay. From Charbon, some of the older voices in the sport, my dad, like to say that modern managers just read off the office's spreadsheet when making decisions. But what percentage of in-game moves are actually ordered by the front office in advance versus made autonomously by the manager based on the game state? For example, when a reliever gets put in, is there a flow chart? Okay, so they have all the information. Generally, there's a lot of information, and they talk about game plan going in. Like, these are the relievers that we'd like to use today. Here's the spots we'd like to use. And then it varies wildly how much autonomy the manager is given at that point, right? There were some GMs that were very hands-on. There were some GMs that are like, after that meeting, you do what you do. And that's kind of how it works. But they get together and they talk through what they would like to see, what they like, how are we going to execute our philosophy, and then it's the manager's job to put people in the position to do that. That's how it works generally. Some teams are much heavier. I mean, this rears its head most often when there's like when we're platooning guys for no reason, which I hate. Like the A's platoon everybody all the time. And no one gets any better when they only get half the at-bats they're used to. And then there's when relievers come in. Those are the two biggest things. And some people are more strict on that stuff than others. Like the Rays are more strict than the A's, for example. But it is what it is. So it's true in some places, it isn't, and the only times you're really noticing it. But there is some version of that everywhere, and that's, I think, a good thing, because it's a reason. It's everyone's on the same page, or it's like you have a routine that gets you all on the same page, which is important in this game. How long does it take for the league to adjust to hitters, and why does it take so long with the film and data available? Not that those would be the only things used. It's because it's a confidence thing, man. It's like if a guy can't hit a pitch you don't throw, what are you supposed to do? And then once you get out there, the pressure can, like, your brain can go all over the place. You can forget what you're trying to do. It's a lot harder than it seems. It seems very, very easy to adjust and understand. Oh, and also there's a lot of people that just simply don't know how to use numbers. Do I believe in catcher ERA? To an extent, yeah. So that's kind of how it works. Did hecklers ever get to me when I pitched? Probably early in my career, yeah, definitely. But for a long time, I don't know. Favorite bullpen catcher of all time, dude? It's got to be tie between Racanello and freaking and Lange, Eric Langell. The bullpen guys for the Mets are awesome. Got to clip that for whenever my old man gets grumpy about the starter coming out after 92 pitches. Yeah, it's like one of those things. It depends on where the game is, Char, too. Like, you got to remember, if it's tied, if you have a 1-run lead or you're behind, you're much more likely to get, or you're close but behind. But if you're down by 3 runs, if it's like 3-0 and you guys have not hit at all, the guy might get an extra inning. You know? How do you throw a sinker? When I threw mine, I threw it like this. It wasn't very good. I did mess with a little bit of a seam shifted one last year. It gave me some run and some ride. But usually it's just this. And then pronators are good at it. But if you want to seam shift it, go here. Then backspin it if you're a supinator and you tend to supinate the ball. Okay? So, great question, Charbon. JD, if you're part of an organization that's selling at the deadline as a player, what's your mindset and team's mindset finish the season? Are you grinding it out, working on things for next year, trying to figure out a way to sneak back into contention without help? How do you stay motivated to compete? All of those things for different guys. There's guys that play for themselves. That doesn't work very well. My dad said one thing to me. He said, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So I always tried to finish the season with my best month, and for the most part, I did every single time. I always finished strong, and that was something that was instilled in me when I was young. So it sucks, though, man. Some clubhouses are harder to focus on than others. Some guys, like some coaching staffs and stuff, are really worried about losing their jobs, and that changes things. And sometimes you're just going through the motions. You have to fight that, but it's really, really hard when you're not really in it. And you got to look around, and you gotta care about the guys around you. So that's what I found worked the best. But it varies wildly too. There's some teams that just pack it in, and they're cool with just like sleepwalk into the end so they can get to the off season. But that won't help you in your career. We need a video on what make pitches good besides command and velo. Oh, I've talked a lot about it, Luca. I can do one though. What make pitches good? I could do a long one about that. You think Corbin Burns using more curveballs could be a reason for his strikeouts dropping a bit? Absolutely, 100%. He is throwing more curveballs. I believe that's true. Is that Trajekt machine big right now? Okay, I'll talk about the Trajekt machine. Actually, this would be a great one. Actually, I'll pull that up in a second. Let me get this last question. We'll talk about Trajekt because the people who don't know what it is, it's really interesting. I can't let you get close. Sad. Do you see any glaring issue with Taijuan Walker since his signing? Very generous contracts with the Phillies. Walker came back from the IL. Well, the Phillies send Spencer Turnbull to the bullpen when he's having a great career start to his year. Why does the player's paycheck warrant special treatment when he don't necessarily deserve it? So you're going to give that guy a chance, and you saw something in the pitcher you gave the money. So they see something that maybe you don't. Maybe their leash is longer than yours. You need the performance right now. Maybe they don't need it right now from him. Maybe they still grade him out as better long-term, even though currently he's not playing. All of these things can factor in, but they paid him for a reason because they saw something. Even though that's not what they're getting right now, they're probably holding out hope that he's going to get back to where he was in terms of that stuff and that projectability. Though his stuff has been diminished a little bit, and the injuries probably have something to do with it. But they're like, let's get him going. Peripherally, Turnbull has been overperforming all year. He has. I saw it too. Like, he's a lot of luck involved. He was having a very good year, but he's also not being paid. So you have to see what you have with Taijuan. You just have to do it, especially when you have the luxury of being 10 games up in your division. So that makes sense. And now they're both hurt, so it doesn't really matter. All right, let's see if we can pull up this Trajekt. Is it K? Trajekt pitching machine. Let's see if we can get a quick video. Okay, here we go. So it's a machine that is supposed to like move guys based on where they are on the rubber, and you're supposed to be able to see guys' motions. Right? So they have this machine that is supposed to simulate the pitcher you're going to face. Right? Cool machine. Sweet. Awesome. They're expensive as hell. I believe they're like $500,000 or something crazy. Let's actually see how much it was. 15 grand. Wait, that's not even a Trajekt. Oh my God, you lease them and they're 15 and 20 grand a month? Dude. So, now that we know what this is, I'm going to tell you why they suck. So, there's something that people just don't understand. And that is hand position at release. Whatever your hand looks like is a major key for hitters. If they see your hand, you're on the side of the ball like this. If they see you're like this, if they see this or this or this, that's how they make their initial decision based on what they see your hand do. This obviously doesn't have that. So yeah, you can see a guy's motion. You can get the timing that way, but you can't predict the pitch. You can't work on getting, you can see shapes. So like in that case, having a pitching machine is the same thing, because adding the guy in there throwing, the only value it's really adding is like the leg kick. So yeah, standing in like a catcher, right? A catcher catching a pitcher they might have to catch soon, gotta get called up or whatever. It's valuable for him. It's valuable for seeing the shapes of their pitches. It's valuable for picking up on how things break. But getting in there and like taking like a live AB, it's not going to help you as much as people think it is. But if you stand there and just like get an idea of what you might see without having to swing or react, and just so you can like get a feeling for when the ball spins like this, it moves like that, because that's the second decision you make. You see your hand position, and then you make a distinction whether or not you need to adjust that swing based on how it's spinning. That's how hitters hit. They see two things, and this only shows one thing. Feels like we can do this in VR instead. You can, but even VR, like just like AI, VR can't get hands very well. So like how the ball comes out of the hand doesn't look great yet. What's the best way to work on pitch movement at home? You have a net? The Mets had one. The Mets were one of the first teams to try it out, so I've seen it. In fairness, you can't work on a hand position without the machine either. You can if someone's throwing it, but you mean without? If a machine's throwing it, you can't work on a hand position? No, I know that. But again, then why would you spend $20,000 on a month on a machine when you can just buy a normal machine and have the same? What I'm trying to say is, if they had this and it just adjusted and mimicked the pitch movement, the screen on the front is kind of pointless. You could get rid of the screen. So if the screen is the thing that's increasing the price, just get rid of it. It does have some value. Oh, of course, it's a good pitching machine. A machine that naturally adjusts itself to throw the same shapes, that's really valuable. Doesn't need the screen. The screen's overkill. So anyway, I think the screen is the part that's like the thing they're shopping the most, and it doesn't add as much value as they play it off to. So it's interesting. Snappy, there actually isn't. True or false, every team should have both left and right BP pitchers. It can't hurt, but I don't think it's necessary. So yeah, that's the Trajekt machine, guys. And that was our last question. So if you want to ask questions for the next show, you can do it in Discord in the Trevor Answers Baseball Questions. Is it Trevor Answers Baseball? Ask questions. Questions for Trevor. So if you guys want to make this for next week, check it out, eh? And we'll do the questions there. Anything else as we approach the 11 o'clock? We got about 8 minutes left in the stream here. I've had a really good time. Okay, Trevor, what age do you think it's appropriate to start throwing different pitches? My son's turned 13, started to evolve his last season as a good pitcher. We focused on fastballs only. I threw a changeup first. Learn a changeup, some version of a changeup, whether that's Vulcan or maybe not a true splitter. Be really slow with that, but like learn some sort of changeup. And I think it's okay at 13 just to start practicing curveball or slider. Start practicing a breaking ball of some sort. Maybe throw it a little bit in bullpens. But I held off for throwing true breaking balls in games until I was 14. And that was I honestly though, if you've hit your growth spurt at 13, if the puberty has started, I'd say it's probably okay. But I waited till 14. And the machine change release points. It can, but I don't know if it goes low enough. I don't think it goes low enough for Tyler. No. Karate chop, curveball, hell yeah. We just got another resubscription. Jamin, 75 heckin' months. Look at you, you cutie. That is growth spurt, but it's just in the beginning. Okay, change up, simply. Change up. Go for it. Certain pitches come with injury risk, so which one's the highest injury risk? Splitters. Splitters are the highest injury risk. Generally, curveballs and sliders for younger kids probably are second. But I think that splitters are the only one that's really has any sort of motion that might create a different type of stress somewhere else on your arm. I think splitters probably the most takes the longest to get used to. Dr. Meister thinks it's sweepers and power changeups. I think what Keith's trying to say, and I'm a big fan of Dr. Meister. He's the one who cut my elbow open. I think his main point is how quickly these things are changing and guys are picking them up. So like power changes and sweepers are the two pitches that everyone's picked up in the last 2 years. But just by their nature, sweeper, maybe. I think he has a point. That's a different motion. Like this is something a lot of people never did. Changeups though, it's hard for me to hear. I mean, splinkers maybe. If you're throwing hard splitter out of nowhere, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Zoo, 44 months. Let's get some Team A1s in the chat for Zoo. Team A1s in the chat for Zoo, dude. Hey, and where's Waldo? Enjoy your Brewers game tomorrow, man. Have a great time. Team A1s and Team A dances in the chat room. Thank you so much. What do you do for a person who overthinks when batting? I'm a freshman catching in varsity. I've been put up in the batting lineup. I got DH, and now I don't know what to do when I step in the box. Eddie, what do you think you're doing what does overthinking mean to you? Do you think you're like trying to guess the pitch too much? Are you worried? Identify what that overthinking thought is. What is the thought? Yeah, what is the thought? I'm really interested. I kind of want to. I want to have this be our last thing for the day. It's about learning what thought patterns that are keeping you away. How do you stop putting stress on your elbow when you throw? That's a very complicated question, Janzo. I would recommend going on a little bit of a YouTube deep dive. Maybe look at some stuff from Tread. Anything from Tread, from Jaeger, from the Baseball Ranch, from Driveline on arm paths. So look up proper arm pathing and just see what you can see that you do that might be causing your issue. Also, talk to a doctor if it's really bothering you. It's a good place to start. First thing you do is understanding why you're putting stress on your elbow when other people aren't. Would you say having a sweeper and curveball are replaceable? Yeah, I mean, yeah. You could throw a hard slider. You could throw a gyro. You could throw a death ball. You could throw all kinds of stuff. Yamamoto switched to the dart thing because of elbow pain? The dart thing? I don't know what the dart thing is or what you mean about that. I try to guess, and I think if I mess up, I hurt the team. See, that's the thing. Do you think that if you mess up, you are hurting the team? Like, do you think that You're never going to avoid hurting the team if you think you failing is bad for your teammates at any point, because you're going to fail. Everyone's gonna. Guys are going to have bad games, and that's going to be a part of the reason you lose. Somebody is. Just like guys having good games is going to be the reason you win. Sometimes guys have bad games and you win. Some guys have good games and you lose. Like, you don't have enough effect on a game. So you're not letting anybody down. The only one you can let down is yourself. And as long as you give your best effort, that's all you can ever do. The only thing you can ever guarantee is I did my best. That's the only guarantees there are. So you got to find a way to accept that. It's about accepting that is the nature of it. For you, is strength and flexibility more important while flowing? It's actually being strong within flexibility. It's being strong within your range. So you need both. Yeah. So here's what I got to say, guys. I'm seeing a lot of like platitude advice, like Hall of Famers 30% of the time is considered successful as a hitter, and see ball, hit ball, and a bunch of like what you need to do. That's not a how. None of those things are hows. And a lot of the fear that comes with baseball, fear never goes away. Pursoon with the prime sub. Pursoon, thank you so much. Teammate ones in the chat, thank you. Fear doesn't go away. You're gonna be apprehensive. You're gonna be nervous. There's gonna be days where you're super anxious. There's gonna be days where you're like, for whatever reason, you're hyper confident. Trust me. There was not a moment. There was not a period of time in my life, in my career, where I wasn't afraid for more than a day or two. It does not go away. So don't think that ever is gonna go away. It's the nature of it. It's your relationship with it. So these things aren't logical. Like, you know that you're not letting your team down. You know these things, but you still think them. So, like, going about it logically, like saying, well, I know that's not true. That's not enough. There's something else happening. There's something you're not accepting. So I would say, accept that is one of the things that could happen. Just tell yourself, it could happen. I could mess up. I could ground and double play. I could strike out here. It wouldn't be the first time, and it won't be the last time. And if I want to play this, that's just one of the things that can happen. That'll set you free. Start there, and then what that allows you to do is shift what your brain's trying to do when the guy's pitching to you. If you sit there and you guess to the best of your ability. If it's not about trusting your swing. I mean, you're 14 years old, man. You're a freshman in high school. Like, you're only going to know so much. You're only going to know what you know. But accept that what you consider as messing up isn't truly messing up. It's part of it, and that no one hates you. Just accept that. It's just true. Like, just tell yourself that in the mirror if you need to. Look yourself in the eyes and say, it will happen. I'm never going to avoid it for the rest of my life. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to avoid the feeling of failure. And you need to accept that you're going to feel like you failed at times. And once you do that, it suddenly doesn't sting as much. So that's what I'll say. Accept that the things that happen in the game that don't feel very good happen. And that at times you're not going to be very happy. Once you accept that is just part of it, it makes handling it a lot easier. It's a game of failure. They know that, right? But they still don't want to fail. So what you need to do is be like, you have to accept the fact that you're going to fail. Because failing in this game is honestly a success in a lot of ways. You learn a lot from it. The Pumpkin Tribunal with a prime sub. Where are you guys coming from right now? Iridescent FS with the 9 months. Wow, we're having a baby. Wow, I'm about to have 2 babies. That's crazy. See what I mean? Mr. T said it again. The greatest is overtime, fails 7 out of 10 times. It just doesn't help. That doesn't make failing any easier to help. Like, for all of you guys out there that like have kids and talk to them, stop telling them that the greatest hitters failed 7 out of 10 times. Like, they know. Like, we know. That does not make failing easier or feel better. It's about the feeling that it gives you. People don't want to feel bad feelings. So find ways to be okay feeling bad feelings, things you don't like. Where you can be like, you know what? This is just one of those shitty times. The better you get at that, the more, the easier, the more consistent you're going to feel out there. They need to learn. They don't know, though. I mean, they do, but just don't repeat it to them over and over again. Honestly, don't. Every time they're like, I'm still afraid, and you've said it 15 times, that isn't enough. Is what I'm saying. They need to learn failure is okay, 100%. But there are better ways to do it. I'm telling you a way that works better. You're telling them the how, not the what. You're saying, be okay with failure. And they're like, okay, how do I do that? And then what you say is, be okay with the feelings that come along with failure. That's the how do you become okay with failure. I think that's where things get dropped. So once you like move past 101 and go on to 201 at some point, is what I'm saying. I just failed 100% of my last 2 at-bats because we're human beings and we feel like we have recency bias. We feel like we fail every time. And it's not a logical thing. You know you haven't failed every time, but you still feel like you did. Your emotions are not logical. It's only failure if you don't step up plate. Don't quit. Don't quit's a good one. Again. Make failure constructive and it's not failure. Okay, how? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see where, so platitude, it only covers the what. It says the obvious thing. I saw a video recently where a Fortnite pro, a mongrel, thought he was on a podcast. He thought he was giving you the craziest advice ever. And he was like, just be the best in the world and people pay. That's how you grow on Twitter. You just, when they see you at the top of the leaderboards, they always go. I'm like, your advice is to be the best in the world? Duh! No shit. How, bro? How? How? Talk about the process or ask them questions. If you're talking to your kid about playing and you say, let's learn from your failures. So what things do you think happened today that were failures? What do you feel like was a failure today? Let's say you have a kid who's upset about how he played. Be like, what parts were failures? Have them list them to you. Then go through them point by point. Be like, what? And then what are these going to teach us so that we can be better next time to put ourselves in the best position to not fail? See, now we're talking about the how and not just the what. And I've heard this from a lot of coaches. There are professional coaches that just say platitudes all day and they don't go deeper, ever. There's big league coaches. They're like, just do this. How? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why? Like, Barry Bonds used to do that, I heard, right? Because he just did the things that he did a lot of times. Like, he doesn't remember having to learn them. So, ask questions. How do I throw more consistent changeup? I've tried 4-seam grip, 2-seam grip. Do you play catch with it, C Rose? Do you do changeup pull downs? Visualization? Yeah, visualization helps. Some people aren't visualizers. Kate, she can't visualize things like I can. I see things. I see things like a picture in my head. I literally do. So visualization was great for me. I could visualize what success felt like, and then I could feel the feeling of like I could imagine myself being like, let's go, before I did the thing. That was a skill I built, but I was able to vividly see it in my head because that's how my brain works. Wasn't Ted Williams famously bad at coaching because he didn't understand why players weren't able to do what he did? So it's funny. Ted probably could have coached earlier, when he was younger. It's called the curse of knowledge. It's a real thing, guys. The curse of knowledge. People don't remember not knowing what they know after a certain amount of time. I don't remember what I was learning when I was 18. I don't remember. I don't remember where I was in my journey. I don't know. I don't know what I knew and what I didn't know at that point. And that the longer you go, without talking to people who are that age and like helping them figure out the house, the less you remember. And it happens. It's natural. Like it's hard. You have to undo it on purpose. You have to focus on that. That's why zero top QBs are coaches. Well, that and they made so much money they don't have to coach. A lot of people who coach, it's because they need the money. On flat ground, I'm fine, but as soon as I get on the mound, I lose it. What's happening? Are you throwing it all over the place? Is it when a hitter gets in the mound in there? Yeah, platitudes are fine to start if you start your point with the platitude and then you build off of it. That's the thing. I want to help people. I want to help people figure out their how. And then I want to help them know how to figure out their how on their own. So they don't have to ask people like me. They can be like, okay, so if this happens, then the how is probably this. And that's kind of how I approached it. Oh, they become GMs. Well, that too. Throw a hard cutter and sinker. Should I add a curve or slider? Do you want to? Yeah. Be careful with it. But I would. There's no harm in messing around with the slider grip, messing around with the curveball, just practicing it and catch. Also, throw a change it, please, or something version, some version. Yeah, of course, MD. Okay, so we went really long today. I apologize, but I don't apologize. I had a blast. Guys, I know I got a little nerdy today. And I appreciate you for humoring me. This is concept. These concepts are things that I've wanted to talk about for a long time. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here, like on this show. This show is going to be talking about the All-Star game, looking at nastiest pitches, whatever. But oh my God, we didn't do nasty pitches of the week. Chat, should we wait till next week? Because we have like 12 in here, but if we wait till next week, we can do like a half an hour of it. I think so. We didn't do a player breakdown this week either. Damn, okay. Damn, we got way into the All-Star game. I like doing the All-Star game because it was All-Star week. So next week, I will be in Dallas. We will be doing this from a hotel. All right? So we'll do nasty pitches of the week next week. Next week, we're going to do a big deep dive into nasty pitches. We'll do a big deep dive into my predictions on the year and where we're at, and then we'll do a bunch of player breakdowns. Does that sound good? Thoughts on Trajekt not getting an All-Star? Rewind about an hour, Foot, and you'll see what I think about that. You doing a vlog down? Should I do a vlog, All-Star vlog? I might just get some footage. Because I'm figuring out how to use my iPhone as my camera, and it's working really well. So if you guys would like, I can do a behind the scenes of how the media works, how it works with foul territory and stuff. I think they would love that too. So maybe I'll do. Are you interested in Lincoln? Dude, I love John Boy. I love Jimmy. I love Jake. I love those guys. I love Jolly Olive. I love Trevor Plouffe. I love Chris Rose. John Boy is my favorite people. I also am making sure that I'm not stealing their content. I know I use them a lot for context and stuff. I thankfully have reached out to Jimmy and said, hey, man, just yell at me if I'm ever using one of your breakdowns. You hate it, please. So I love those guys. I would love to do Blitzball one time. I don't know. We'll see. I got lots of stuff in the works. Also, I'm still working on getting the walk with Frank the Tank to going. So a lot going up on. We will do a little vloggy boy for the All-Star game and see what's up, see what's happening, and we'll go from there. But next week, a lot of fun stuff. Nasty's pitches. Maybe we'll do Nasty's pitches of the first half. I think that'd be fun. We'll go from that. We'll go from there. All right. But we got a lot today. We talked. I just talked for 3 hours straight, and I got to go to my office space that I'm renting and get the internet set up in an hour or two here too. So I gotta go. I gotta take off. But I love you guys. Hashtag Teammate Throws 97. That is gonna be this winter. I'm gonna get back in shape. I'm gonna see if I can throw into a net as hard as I can. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next Monday for Mayday Monday. You guys are the best. But you already know that, all right? See ya. Bye. Bye.